Hi there, everyone. How you doing? It's Jeff C. once again. Sorry about the false start that we had there. Just some technical difficulties when we're sending out links for everybody to come in, and sometimes people misuse the. Well, it's not that they misuse it. It's just they get confused and they're not sure if that's a link that they should give out. So we're all back on now. Some of us are going to be a bit slow coming back on, but what we were talking about to lead off was women in the truth movement. We had all of our guests and our panel weigh in and talk
everyone.
about.
How you doing? It's Jeff C.
Uh-oh, there we go. Close your window. That's me. That's me. That time it's my fault. So I want to say, everyone, thanks again for coming in, and for those who are listening in, thank you very much for having patience to stick with us. This is the hiccups that come when we start up these things, and we have to go through the aches and pains of Google+. So, getting women involved is a real obstacle. We have a lot of women, I guess you could consider on the fringe, that have, really involved themselves in this movement. But by and large, it's guys, and it's very hard to reach women. So I'd like to ask people, what do you think? Like, what could we do individually to help reach more women? What would it what would be our best strategies for bringing more women in?
I think women are scared that men will kind of barrage them or say, your opinion doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what a lot of women are worried about, and I think what we need to do is give each woman a little more time to express herself. Some of us are a little slower at getting the context across, but our ideas take time to manufacture and express. So I would say just give them a moment to collect themselves and express themselves without being, oh, what are you, a stupid woman? I've gotten that before, or split tail comments kind of thing. So.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I'm sorry that I'm still sending links out.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. So I think we're getting everybody back on board, and So I mean, there's just so much information going on out there. I think in many ways our media takes advantage of the sort of nurturing aspect of women. It's easy, I guess, for them to manipulate women into, as we were saying before, get into hairstyles and stuff. Like, I mean, it's not that stuff isn't important. Of course, it's all part of our culture and everything. But to get women to be critical of the really huge objective, because it's really like when I go to the supermarket and I see the magazines in the racks and stuff like that, it's women that are preying upon with this kind of mind control. That's what I call it, right? When I see, and all the women, of course, that are on the covers of these magazines have been airbrushed and digitally altered and, just made to look perfect.
That's very true, yeah. And when women are constantly concerned about, if their hair is the correct type of ombre or if they, weigh the perfect amount, it's really difficult to unplug from that and actually concentrate on things as important as, the research that you guys, some of us do, So it's kind of an all-consuming thing, and it's tough.
I think the other thing that I just want to interject, I just got a message today that someone named Dennis and I don't know who it is, but they are threatening to expose me and my real identity, and I guess this is the new, the new thing. And for women, it's a little bit trickier because I've got kids, so it's not me I'm worried about. It's more like, the kids taking crap and flack, and I think women are a little bit more cautious when it comes to that because, especially single moms, you're like, I don't want my kids to be taking grief for my opinions,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we're just more vulnerable,
Yeah, and I'm just to the point with, oh, okay, go ahead. I don't care. Expose me, or reveal who I am. I don't care. I have nothing to hide. But I was just doing it more as a protection for them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Tom, what were you going to say before?
Who, me?
Yeah. The other Tom.
No, what, before? I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
That might have been me, or I don't know. But anyways, I was gonna say though, Political Port, she's actually very critical of the media as far as what you were alluding to, like women who expose that sort of thing, and actually top of my head, Political Port does that the best. She,
Yeah.
you know, criticized. I know she's done a few pieces. I know. I remember one video she was criticizing the magazines, and I think it was a video she did in her car, and she was talking about just coming from the store, and she was talking about this magazine that she was seeing and the magazines that were on the. So that's always important, you know. We get that sort of perspective, and it's really, really helpful, you know. But
Yeah, she's definitely a real tough woman and a good model for a lot of women that are waking up out there, because she doesn't take any guff. I mean, she's you know, she'll say exactly what she wants, and she swears more than I do, so don't get on her swearing.
Are we talking about the political port?
Yes.
I just jumped back, sorry. So I heard more swearing than I do, and I knew it had to be her. I love her.
But you know, she's proof that you can be tough, rough, and beautiful. You know.
Oh yeah, she's awesome. I've been listening to her videos for like the past couple of days. I've been going on like just a video spree with hers. I don't know why.
Well, we'd like to get her on at some time. Hopefully she'll respond to me. TPP, she calls herself. But yeah, I mean, like those are the type of women. There's another woman, British Jam Noise, who are also like a lot.
oh, I love her. Big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if women had, you know, better people to admire and look up to than, you know, Kim Kardashian, you know, then, you know, they would aspire to be a little bit more, you know, leaning towards our side of things rather than how things currently are.
Yeah, just break that paradigm of your you know, like, I mean, the magazines are the perfect example. I mean, there's no better brainwashing.
Oh, it's sick. It's disgusting, and how young they get them from, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
It starts as soon as you're like 8, 9, I mean even younger.
Oh,
than
even
that.
younger than that.
Yeah, as soon as you're.
How about all those magazines that target like you know, the regular moms, like the soccer moms of the world, like the Kate Blake of the world? They target like her, you know, with these magazines and all that, you know, the Martha Stewart.
I can't believe moms are allowing their 12-year-olds to twerk and then they're doing it with them.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, hello? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's like we have the twerk revolution now. Unbelievable. Kill
Hey,
me
did any
now.
of you see there was a video, I think I saw it on Facebook, and it was like these 3 girls twerking on stage, and it panned over to the audience, and they were all little kids, like, watching, and like little kids, like 8-year-olds. It was really weird.
Wow.
Monkey
Yeah,
do.
it's going around the internet right now. I think I saw it on Facebook, but it's crazy.
Is that the one with the Russian girls? Maybe.
I think they were from another country. I think.
Yeah. I heard there's some Russian twerking video that's got like 30 million views or something crazy like that. That's what happens. I mean, it's not the videos that we're putting up that are going to get 30 million views. That's for sure.
Oh, no way.
Here's some good mind control for you. Here you go. You know. Yeah, it's really something. So I think it's you know, we have to we just want to break that paradigm, break the control mechanisms that are so entrenched in our society. And I mean, from television, from magazines, from, you know, almost every form of media, women are targeted and preyed upon, and they take advantage of the good nature of women. You know, they take advantage of the nurturing aspects of women. The dog won't stop barking. So yeah, you guys go ahead. I'm gonna tell them to shut up.
I was gonna say that for those of you that don't know, Truth Paradigm, she's best known for doing her work on Sandy Hook. She came on the scene exposing one of the actors there called Kevin Mark.
I wouldn't say best known. I only.
Well, you're known for that. That's what you're known for, you know. And Review Manify also shared your video and what happened there.
Yeah, he helped out there a lot. That was great.
Yeah, and so that's why we wanted to bring you on. You have some good talents there, very well done, and you also did some work with the Santa Barbara shooting hoax. You did the video with the cleanup scene, which helped my video complement my video tremendously, and it was just so well done. So I want to thank you again for that. And so yeah, I mean, let's take this opportunity to you know, tell everyone how you started off there and what your channel's all about, and then how you sort of your perspective as a woman from that. You can tie that into.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I started off. I've been kind of always been interested in sort of the conspiracy aspect of things, and I've always been really kind of a nerdy person into research, and that was always kind of like my fun thing to do, is like research things. So when Sandy Hook happened, basically from the very first day, I knew something was up, and I was watching all of your guys' videos from day one, and just spending hours and hours and hours researching, and then finally I just decided, like, you know what, I'm going to put myself out there and just make one video and see how that goes, and I ended up getting 2 channels completely deleted for completely bogus reasons. Which was a little discouraging, but I put up my 3rd channel, and so far, so good. So I really need to start making some more videos, but I think it's all about quality rather than quantity.
No, definitely. No, you're not going to be the Dabu, girl version. So.
He's a machine. He's just a machine.
I know, it's crazy.
Well, the machine is going to join us, so we're very happy about that. I think, I agree, quantity is always great, or quality is always
Well, both are good, really.
But both are good, and Dabu does a tremendous job getting a lot of information out there, and, some of it's going to be maybe not correct or, proven wrong or something like that, but a lot of it is just wow, and he's quicker. He's a lot quicker than the corporate media.
Oh, yeah.
For a solo guy. But I want to bring us into our second topic tonight, which I know we don't have a lot, because when we're going to switch in the second hour, we're going to go into Ferguson. I wanted to talk about the James Wright Foley beheading. I want to get each and all of you to give me your sort of interpretation of what happened, starting with Red Pill. What do you think about it?
No, it's all BS. It's a farce. It's a hoax. Well, I don't know if it's a hoax, but
it was on Hoax Online.
actually, no one died, no one got hurt. No, I'm just kidding. It's all, I think, it's all mostly having to do with the gearing up for a false flag, I believe, for regarding ISIS and this whole jihad thing, right?
Yep.
That's what I think this whole thing is leading up to, ultimately, and that's what this is about. Just more of the same kind of fear psyop within this whole psyop. This beheading thing, and unfortunately, I have seen many beheadings in the past, like the videos and whatnot. Years ago, I was watching them, and so I'm familiar with what's what would be seem more real and what's not. And this seemed right, unrealistic right off the bat. And of course, everyone pointing out the inconsistencies and everything making it seem not genuine. And so that just added to it. That just added to all the rest of the BS. The ISIS sign behind Jake Tapper of CNN, conveniently right behind him. I mean, come on, and the guy reading the Quran and just all this stuff, right? You add it together, does not equals very fishy. So
no, I think I agree with you there, Red Pill, because just like the the alleged killing of 3,000 soccer players, or not soccer players, just kids in Iraq, and I made a video on that it was a couple months ago with ISIS killing them, and it just conveniently faded into black right before you actually see anything happen, just like this video, and it just seems like a Hollywood production, the whole thing, and of course it's going to be used to propagate this idea that ISIS is coming to get us, boogeyman, this, that, and the other, and I think they want to create a Middle Eastern Union too out of this whole thing. So they're using it as a fear tactic to sort of scare people as well. So I think there's a lot going on there, and yeah, to me it seems like it's all staged. No one died, no one got hurt.
You guys have any of our women seen the video that I put up, or the video of the parents? Did you see the reaction? Did you find anything about that was suspicious to you?
I just watched that. Yeah.
Yeah, I put it in an article.
Who wants to go first? 49? Yeah.
Okay, I put it in an article for you. So I already watched it, and it made a lot of sense. And then I put their full interview on it. I put it in the side chat for you. Tatut had done a lot of good work in regard to Red Alert, fake blood.
Yeah.
It's ISIS, of course. You know, we can track them, where they came from, what they are. We've done several articles on ISIS. So, you know, the guy is sitting there saying, you know, America's the worst, it's awful, everything. Then why are they killing him if that's his opinion? You know, and the parents smiling and.
Yeah, well, why would he
you know,
say that if he's going to die? I mean, he's
Exactly.
like, his last word is, "I wish I wasn't an
An
American."
American. Yeah, if he knew he was going to die, that's when you just, you know, defy your captors who you know are about to kill you, and, you know, don't do what they're asking, because they're going to kill you anyways if that's what they want us to believe, right? So.
Now,
Right.
now, mentioned to Jeff C that you've been watching the feed every night now. So
Yes, I have been.
So what is your take on that from watching it every night? I just can't deal with this whole bull crap. I can't watch that all the time. So I commend you for watching.
Are you talking about Ferguson, or are you talking?
Yeah,
From
yeah,
like CNN.
yeah, the Ferguson.
Yeah, I was watching the Ferguson live feeds from
I've been keeping an eye on
Timcast
it.
with Vice News and a few other ones every night, basically, and yeah, it just seems like there's a whole lot of provocateurs in the crowds, and nonetheless, though, the way the police are acting is absolutely out of hand, I believe.
I don't want to derail anything, but I want to, if we could, just hold off on Ferguson till Dabu joins the second hour, because we have a lot to discuss on that. So I just wanted to get more back into this. I mean, it seems to me like if you look at the whole James, what's his name there? Foley, right? That, you know, it's almost 2 years ago. I think it was in Thanksgiving or whatever, 2012, when he was kidnapped in Syria, allegedly, right? And now they have another American, or they have several other things. The guy that did allegedly kill him had a very, very strong sort of Arabic British accent, which is now they're calling, like, the latest headline. I think it's off. I can show you Hoax Online, of course. None other than, right? It's increasingly likely he is British. Cameron admits ISIS butcher who beheaded U.S. journalists is probably from the U.K., as it is claimed jihadist is part of a UK trio in Syria known as none other than the Beatles. You can't make this shit up, right?
All right.
Nice. No, he did sound British right off the bat when I heard him. I didn't even have to, like, you know, look that up or anything. I was like, this guy sounds like he's from, you know, Western Europe or something. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, probably one of those MI6 CIA type guys. You know, could be at least. I mean, obviously this is all speculation, but it really does seem that way. You know,
You guys, like, it was Red Pill who said he's seen a lot of beheadings, because I can't watch those kind of things. But
no,
I did.
I have to.
I've seen
Okay, good.
a bunch
So,
too.
I've watched this one a few times now. What everybody's noticing. Yeah, what everybody's noticing. First of all, Chrissy was quick to notice this on my videos, was the different camera angles, the high definition that they used, the fancy editing, even.
It was just I'm sorry. It was just a really high. It was just a really high production value.
Yeah.
And normally you don't see that. We get shitty cell phone cameras, and that's all we get. And all of a sudden now we have this giant, great video.
Yeah, looking at it, it seems to, there's something eerie, I don't know, and it's not the beheading aspect, it's just, you know, when something's off, that's the immediate feeling I got from it. It seems far, far, far too, like, too much of a contrived sort of production.
Yeah.
Staged.
Yeah,
it's
very much
It's too
staged.
polished.
Yeah.
And why would they, if they are really trying to terrorize Americans, right? That's what we're led to believe, right? The big bad ISIS is coming to get us all, and we better buy the plastic wrap and the duct tape. You know, like, why would they edit that? And you noticed, and I noticed this too, that there was a few edits, there was a few scenes that were cut, and you know, just that alone is like, well, this thing is staged. You can't trust it. Not like a live video that they took. This is a video that they probably took several different takes to get it right.
Well,
you
notice
know?
he says his lines like absolutely perfect. He doesn't stumble through a single word. And, you know, I've seen a lot of beheadings, and they show the actual, you know, the act actually occurring, because that's, you know, it's to scare people, right? So to cut it out really doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
No, yeah. If I could see if they released a version that was sort of edited, for public consumption, so we could see it on the media and be scared, and then another version which was real, because that real version is key in terms of if they're gonna really behead somebody, they're gonna show it. You know what I'm saying? At least they're gonna at least release one version showing
it's something they would take pride in, as sick as that is.
Isn't that the sort of track record for ISIS with these beheadings?
Oh,
that
Yeah.
they show,
right. They
don't-
have these videos of them going around drive-by shooting people, and these are real videos,
Yeah.
Blasting
They're
people
not
off the street. These guys are gangsters, like straight up rolling around in SUVs.
Well, they're
And how do they?
CIA gangsters.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was just gonna say.
So
How did they
let's
go
not forget
from-
that bit.
No, how do they go from being these mountain guys, not even being able to, work an AK properly because they never seen a gun before, back in the 80s, to all of a sudden having like these Escalades driving around?
The U.S. government and money.
Of course.
Yeah.
CIA sponsored. I mean, it has to be. I mean,
Absolutely, totally.
and there's proof. There's proof that's true too. So I mean,
And this thing is. Go ahead.
If you look, sorry, okay. So if you look at if you look at the coverage of the beheading, right, on all over the news, you see it. You turn on CNN. Oh, the beheading. Oh, the beheading. It's just all more fear mongering psyops. So it's not surprising it would be a farce, because whenever you have something that's going to be widely covered, it's a media blitz, right? For continuous. It usually is just a farce for that purpose, right? So
yeah, and the parents' behavior was quite
yes, and now
odd,
you
but it's not unlike things that we've seen before with other parents of supposed victims.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's I do this all the time. So, like, some people say, "Well, you're really quick to judge." Well, I've seen so many of them, broken them down, and I see the patterns. And when people are smiling, less than 24 hours after witnessing their son get their head cut off, and they don't have anything bad to say about the people that did it.
No tears, no puffy eyes from staying up all night crying.
So we have the same old stuff. I haven't been able to.
It's right up there with Cassidy Stay, and one important thing that I noticed right away when I covered this was that the husband actually corrects the wife, and it's very interesting, the correction, because she's saying that her son always, her son has great hope or something like that, and
she speaks in past tense about something, and
she
speaks in present tense. Yeah, he corrects her.
Right, she says something along the lines that he had hope, or he has hopes. He has strong hopes or whatever, and then the husband leans over and says he had hopes, and it was I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's like, you're gonna correct your wife on national television, and first of all, okay, that's a total blunder, right? But they could have just let it slide, and it wouldn't have been.
Yeah, he didn't.
He leaned over
perfectly fine.
And she's like, oh, okay, and it's like, my God, you couldn't be more obvious to me. I mean, that these people are acting it out, and they look just very, very similar to the MH17 crisis actors that I already broke down in another video. It's the same old stuff we keep seeing again and again.
To me, she looked like the woman that was at the Boston bombing, that was at the dining table, and then over at the night that the cops went by. Do you know what I mean?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
We heard a loud boom, and then is that the woman?
That's right.
Yeah.
Good.
Wasn't she also at Sandy Hook?
Yes, she was at Sandy Hook. Absolutely, she was one of the only people in the entire town that was actually friends with Nancy Lanza.
Yes.
Actually.
But
More like a drinking buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right. I mean, it's crazy how they use these crisis actors, and of course, if you call them crisis actors, well, a lot more people are waking up. I can say that. Like, a lot of people there's a lot more people that are waking up to the whole charade that is going on. But we take a chance. Go ahead, Red Pill. Sorry.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry, man. Go ahead. No.
Now you must go ahead.
No, you want to go? I'm just kidding. Okay, no. I was gonna say. I mean, they're really just actors. They're really just actors. But of course, we have to, say crisis. But actually, it's like political port. Just for actually speaking about her, she just put up a video saying that recently she's saying, like, she's been wrong. She was wrong. They're not crisis actors, right? They're agents, right? That's what we really should be calling them, right? They're just all pretty much
Well, yeah, I mean,
CIA,
it could be
agents.
legitimate parents, but they could be, connected to the CIA. They could be, paid to act that whole out. To me, it's like it's a huge sort of psyop. It's a long-term planned event. The whole rise of ISIS, all this thing, coinciding with this guy getting beheaded. Of course, now it's all over the corporate media, and every single outlet is doing the same old talking points about it, except us. We're like the only ones out there, a small pocket of people that are like this. Well, actually, it's one of my listeners put a comment in saying that they had put a comment on Hoax Online, Mail Online, right, saying that they thought it was a hoax 100%, and they went back to check their comment and it had like 170 something thumbs up.
Wow.
So.
It'll be
Maybe
gone.
there is an awakening happening that
But
we're.
they take it down fast. Anything
Yes.
that zooms to the top like that has gone fast.
It happened with Cassidy Stay because when I did one of my videos on it, I was using the Hoax Online and I showed the comments and I was going down to say, wow, look at the comments, the same old sheeple. But wouldn't you know it? A lot of people in the comments, the top comments, were more like, I don't buy this. I think it's fake. There's no way she would act this way, right? And guess what? Those comments were quickly removed. The next time I went back to the same page, they were gone. So, this is what we're, this is the game that they play.
Yeah, I think it's all going to culminate with something pretty big here, right? A false flag of some sort. So that's what it's looking like, and so really, it's really not good. All of this stuff is connected, right? So the beheading and everything. So all the fear mongering going on.
I think it's important to mention too that they want a Middle Eastern Union. They want to make an Islamic State. They really want to do that because it's going to be a precedent set to launch World War III. Because you have the Islamic State versus Israel and the West, and I think the whole thing is prepping for something a lot bigger than just a false flag. I think they want to start World War III, and I'm very optimistic in terms of World War III. I don't think it's going to happen. Well, I think it is already happening.
No. Well, wait. Let me stop you there. Yeah. Let's clarify that they've been attempting to initiate World War III for time and time again for the past couple of years now, starting with Syria. They wanted to. It was supposed to begin already, Tom.
Yeah, I know. But at the same time, that the Islamic State was part of the ongoing progression of World War III getting worse and worse. No matter how you look at it, I mean, this is a long-term plan. I mean,
my sort of opinion on this is I really believe Mossad's fingerprints are all over this thing, and I think that.
Well, when isn't their fingerprints all
over?
Like
for me, Mossad, what their goal is to totally break up Iraq, Syria, and Iran. They want them all fighting each other. So it's in their best interest to have this rogue sort of force, ISIS, and supply them. I mean, that's why these people are so well supplied with weapons and all the equipment that they need to cause terror. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if this whole thing has been instigated by Israel at some point or time. So I think that's something that people have to keep in mind. The false flag are Mossad, right? The CIA.
I'm sorry, you're being anti-Semitic. Okay, we won't have that on. We won't have that on. We'll do a live, Jeff.
Yeah, that's it. We'll have the anti-Semitic police come on board and tell us to shut down our show. We're not supposed to talk about it. That's why the corporate media doesn't talk about it. But come on, this is how everyone's being played. The Iraqis, nobody suffered more. I mean, I think of all the countries in the world, really, you'd have to say Iraq has had the worst possible sort of outcome, over the last decade. I mean, they've gone from being a fairly advanced nation, a developed nation, to being, just an utter, toilet bowl of the Middle East now. And whose fault is that? Well, Israel and America and Great Britain, really. It's them who...
It's really quite fascinating, Iraq. It really fascinates me because just think about the resources they stole. Not only the resources, but just everything, the oil, and it also goes back to the... all of the artifacts and everything they have there, with the looting of the museums over there. They just completely obliterated that place and took everything from resources to artifacts to all of that, right? So it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
What they did to Iraq,
Exactly. So now Americans are being terrorized in their living rooms. Once again, it's the same old, right? So this whole thing is a terror sort of operation, and it's so devious the way that they can play people. I mean, because a beheading, it's such an awful thing. It's so dehumanizing. It's such a powerful sort of barbaric statement, right, to make. And you take this guy that they built up for a couple years, right? And everybody's like, where is he? Where is he? And now he pops up, and now they kill him, right? And it's all ready to go. I mean, for the next few days at least, this will be the big story, along with what's happening in Ferguson, of course, which of course is a whole racial psyop that they're doing there. But we're going to get into that once Dabu joins us. But I mean, it's just, what?
I want to say the fear, you're talking about beheading and how barbaric that is. I want to say that's so you have to, sometimes you got to take a step back and realize how powerful that of a mind control technique that is on the masses when it's on the news, talking about beheading and that sort of fear trigger. Remember, as we talked about that trauma-based fear, mind control, the way they use these words and imagery and stories. Yeah. And a beheading story triggers so much within you. You know what I mean? It's such mind control. It is absolutely disgusting how they do that.
Right. It's psychological warfare. That's what it is.
Of course, yeah.
And there's guys specialized in that stuff, and beheading is one of the top things up there on the list. All the way back to the Middle Ages when they used to do that, and it's very interesting because this Islamic State claims to want to bring back a medieval type of crusades like Islamic State, and they perfected that in the Middle Ages, the psychological warfare, and it's being used on us today, and it's pretty interesting that it makes a connection all the way back to the past like that. And of course, it's gone on way before that, but in the Middle Ages is when they did it the most to scare everybody. They would, cut off somebody's head if they were disobeying the church or whatever,
But isn't everything going back to that? I mean, you look at the way that the paganism is coming back, sacrifice to the gods, war and absolute desolation, destruction. There is no Geneva Convention left. There's nothing that sets the boundaries that used to have gentlemen. There's no, protocols anymore. It's just absolutely back to barbaric situations of war, pillage, plunder, rape, and destroy.
Right. Well, I think that they want it like that, and they use tactics, psychological tactics that stem from medieval days. And most of these families, elite Illuminati families, their glory days were the medieval times. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to bring it back to that, the feudalism. That's what they want. In the end, they want.
That's what they've got. I mean, we've got feudalism with cable basically today. Nobody owns anything. The banks own everything. It's quite devious the way that they've convinced us that we're free when we're really not. We're all enslaved to the banks, right? Whether we know it or not. And this is just the psychological control that they can do through your living room, through your smartphone or whatever you're watching, whatever's got you plugged into the matrix. Basically, they assault you day in, day out. And these stories, I mean, there's never a week where there isn't something big that's going on that everybody's focused on, including us, right? And we're usually on the other end where we're trying to say, hey, it's fake. They're manipulating you. But nonetheless, I mean, they get everybody wrapped up in these things, and really, at the end of the day, it's just psychological manipulation, and it's really perverse, the power that it has, the amount of control.
Well, and I think we better just get ready because school's starting up now in a couple weeks here. Some schools are already in, and we're going to start seeing the school shootings. They're really going to go in full force now this year, I think, along with all these other false flags. But, yeah, get ready for the school shootings to start back up again.
Hope everyone's got their bulletproof backpacks.
Bulletproof backpack.
Well,
Lunchbox.
Yeah, that's a good point, Kate, because just like that fraud that criminal Bernard Kerik was on that interview, right?
Bernie Kerik. Yeah.
Yeah, as Jeff knows, he mentioned, cops need to have more guns, and think about all the school shootings that we've had, and 9/11 post-terrorism, and and drug war and all of that garbage. Yeah, he mentioned school shootings, so we know, of
Oh
course,
yeah, he said school
know,
shootings, theater
yeah, of
shootings.
course.
He mentioned all the
No,
hoaxes
we
basically.
know, yeah, we
All
know that
shootings.
the school shootings are. It's just beginning. I mean, it's still going to continue, and so the school season is starting. So that's
Well,
not.
and Sherry questioning all. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her channel, but she put up a fantastic video yesterday that pointed out each state and how many military vehicles they're amping up the police with now. My state came in like fifth. That's Wisconsin. And we've got 24 new
All because of
militarized.
you, Kate.
Yeah, it's all because I'm here, right? Thanks, Jeff. No, but they're showing. It was a really. I recommend everybody go watch that video because it showed each state by state and for these police forces, and they're like, why do they need to amp this up to military? And that's something to keep an eye on too because it's just in time for the school year to start.
Well, they
And
got to indoctrinate your children, have them march in lines and have them line up and holding their arms up and marching out into the field and being pat down and being lined up like cattle and sheep and goats.
scaring the crap out of them. And don't you wonder, it never happens in a private school. It's always in the public schools. It's
And
like
plus-
clockwork.
And plus,
Yeah.
with Common Core being initiated, that's really going to even further the problem because a lot of the things they're learning in Common Core is just pretty much, sit down, shut up, listen, don't ask questions.
Mm-hmm. And we'll pass you. Don't worry about your marks. We'll pass you. Your feelings don't matter, or your feelings matter, sorry. So we won't disappoint you and we'll pass you. If you can pull a lever on a machine, you're good to go. Pass.
And 2 + 2 = orange.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
That seems to be what it's all about.
For sure.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the social conditioning, everything is just. I'm getting messages all the time here, so I'm trying to focus. But this is why what we're doing is so important because we're trying to just reach as many people as possible. We're trying to break through with the critical analysis of what the corporate media is doing, and we're censored left, right, and center. Our videos are taken down off YouTube. Truth Paradigm had her channel taken down. I had my channel taken down. I mean, we've all suffered some form of censorship, and we'll never get featured. We'll never have our videos on the front page of YouTube. No chance. I mean, they didn't even put corporate news videos, let alone ours.
No, it's all about the Young Turks.
Yeah, the dumb turds. I mean, it's ironic because I saw a video earlier where the dumb turds were doing a thing with Russell Brand.
I saw that too. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, wonderful. We got all the gatekeepers. So okay, you guys go on. I got to talk to Red Pill.
Well, and the other thing I was going to say is it's good that you guys brought up the female angle because, as well, they're scaring the shit out of the moms, and their kids being in school, they're terrifying, saying, this can happen, so we're doing drill after drill after drill, and so the parents are, like, wanting all that security in there because they think, at any time their school can get hit. And it's, just a constant barrage of trying to terrify the parents, but most especially the moms because they're a little bit more sensitive, or they tend to be, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure they know that, and that's what, they rely on that. Because a mother's instinct is obviously to protect her children above all, right? So.
Oh, yeah, that's why they had
means
those.
to do so.
You're right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
That's
you,
okay.
but that's why they took the angles with these Sandy Hook parents, especially the moms. The dads came out, but the moms are really fighting hard, as you saw Nicole Hockley, Malloy's latest ad. Her first legit acting gig. It's just completely gearing toward the woman and the mom because of the success they had with Moms Against Drug Driving and other organizations. So they think they can gather these moms around to get gun control, in order. So that's my.
Yeah, it's kind of it's working a little too well.
So what are we looking for with regards to the school shootings? Do you think so, Kate? You think that's going to be pretty big? There's going to be another bigger one with Sandy.
I don't know anything, but I think in this year, I think you're going to see a double or triple because they've gotten away with it so well. Despite all the phony actors, professional victims, fundraisers, the money. I mean, if anybody can't even just see it for the money maker it is, it's huge, you know.
Well,
Within the
I
same
mean,
day
yeah.
of any of these tragedies, you're putting up their fundraisers, and it started with Sandy Hook.
Now, just to clarify again, Sandy Hook garnered it did garner closer to like 100 mil, right? It was around that 100 million.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, over that, because
Well
you're not even
over that.
counting the private donations that were sent and given directly to the families and so much more. I mean, that's just a low figure in my opinion.
Right.
Well, and the lotteries they won, and the sideline stuff that's coming into these people.
Well, and look at all the acting engagements or the speaking you've got now. Janet Robinson is out there making the rounds big time. You know, and she says the exact same script, and she reads it. She says, our Dawn, I can just see Dawn lunging at the gunman because, you know, she wasn't going to let anyone hurt her babies. Well, they weren't her baby, you know. It's just pure propaganda.
Sure. And that's the heartstrings that pulls the women's cord, is the fact there's children involved. You know, women have a really hard time to separate themselves that women or that children didn't get hurt, or you know, and it's like, is it that hard really? Because I mean, even with the MH370, a lot of women around me, I'm going, oh, it's crap, it's a hoax or whatever, whatever, and they're going, oh, but there were babies on board. You know, and it's like, really, were there? How did you hear that?
That's how it works. That's what I was saying before, how they're able to really manipulate women through the power of emotions. And women tend to be more emotional than men, and men tend to hold things in a little bit more than women, right?
Yeah, it's our greatest strength and greatest weakness all at the same time.
Exactly. So, I mean, they start showing the photos of bodies and babies, and next thing you know, women are reaching for their phone or reaching for their credit card.
It's all about tugging at the heartstrings over and over.
And it's such a devious manipulation. It's such a huge obstacle for us to overcome. And then you get people, like I get people coming on my channel, and they're just ordinary people that are not awake, and they will see my videos where I'm calling people crisis actors, and they'll say, you are like the sickest, most disgusting individual. I hope you burn in hell or something like that. It's like, do you realize I'm fighting for your survival? I'm fighting to free you from what the mind control is controlling you right now, right? And it's
that's the sad thing, is that they don't realize it.
Exactly.
And there's some people that I don't know. There might not be any hope for a lot of them at this point. If you haven't figured it out by now, it's kind of getting a little bit too late in the game.
Too late in the game, exactly. That's how I feel, as far as that we're so late right now in the I don't know, cliche, late in the hour, right? But it's so late in the game, right? That I feel like we don't have time to be held back by, you know what I mean? We need to. That's why we're trying to expose these things as far as what they are, and not hold back like other organizations are doing, right, in alternative media, because we just don't have time for this. We don't have time to sugarcoat anything. Really.
Yeah, for the average Joe, like discovering, the depths of, how deep all of this shit goes, it's potentially like life-shattering. It shakes the very foundation of everything that you thought you knew and you thought you understood about the world, and that takes some time to sort of, get used to before you can actually move on to discovering more. You need to sort of learn to deal with the fact that everything you thought you knew isn't what it was, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, it's hard for those people who are not awake yet.
Yeah, about paradigms being shattered, so there you go.
Yeah.
It's such a dramatic change of perception that some people just can't deal with it. Maybe they're not at that stage in their lives that they can accept something like that. It takes a lot of spiritual work to actually understand and to actually accept the fact that everything you've ever known is completely false or just completely a lie. It's one of those things that you got to be really at a particular point in your life to really let that come in and soak in to your consciousness, so to speak. So it's very, very it's a very profound experience, I guess, to really wake up to this stuff. And some people, especially when you got some of our videos, we're really exposing the hardcore stuff. Like, these are actors, half the time, and these are all false flags. You're being completely lied to, and some of them haven't even seen like a video of Building 7 coming down without being hit by anything. So they don't understand that a lot of this is right there in your face. So some of this more advanced stuff to them, it just doesn't really resonate with them because they haven't been, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it doesn't register.
Yeah, it's like trying to put a quarter into a dollar slot or something, I guess. But
well, and that's why it's vital that everybody bring their cell phones and cameras to these events, because I too was watching I'm not getting into Ferguson, I'm just giving an example. I was watching the live feeds of Ferguson every night as well, and then I'd look at the news, and the news was completely opposite of what alternative news or what they had down on the street compared to what they were saying they're firing tear gas, but then the other mainstream media news would come on and say, no, the officer said it was a smoke bomb, and you have people on the ground going, no, it was tear gas, So, but the mainstream media ran with it and said, no, it was just a smoke bomb. They didn't give two shits what the people there were saying. They were going with what the cops were saying. So there were people that expose it with their cameras and get it on film, and that's the part that I think is really troubling to most.
That's the thing about the corporate media. It's sources say, or Pentagon officials say, or officials say. They never tell you who says. They just tell you somebody said, right? And it's
that's all media manipulation. That's
exactly
all media manipulation.
Experts have concluded that.
When they say experts, officials say, all of that.
Science is in.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
It's one of these things where the real way people should be. If you're at home and you actually had a thing called critical thought, you would say, well, what sources say? Which source? Who said it? What's their name?
What officials?
Who do they work for?
What's this official study? Where did that originate from? What?
Yeah, exactly. But no, instead it's like, oh, I guess that's what happened, and then
people asking those questions, but our journalists are supposed to be asking those questions. That's their job.
Journalists.
That doesn't exist anymore.
That's a very good point, though. I mean, the journalists are the ones that should be asking questions. Of course, yeah, like you guys said, they aren't journalists. They're just PR people, right?
They're just puppets.
Yeah, they're public relations officers. That's what they are, really.
I always tell people, if you want to see the accurate depiction of what our media is, just watch They Live. They Live. That's our media. That's the media reality we live in. The media, right? Paradigm.
Consume. Obey.
Yeah, they're just freaking, robots, aliens, that are just, right, just giving us this sort of a zombified signal.
Well, I watched I Am Mike Brown on the live stream. They were run around in circles and then sent to a cordoned off area, and oh my gosh, it was
I saw that, North.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? What are you doing? You can't hear the LRADs. You can't hear the people screaming. What are you doing sitting there looking at each other, waiting? It was an hour and a half in a car going around in circles, and then an hour and a half sitting in a kenneled area. Well, you can hear the LRADs. It's like, oh my God. Really? You're supposed to be the alternative media?
Yeah, they had 4 different feeds up, so I would toggle back and forth between that channel and a couple others, because they were driving for an hour and a half, and they said it was just a 2-mile trip. They kept getting sent around and around. I was like, what was the deal with that? Yeah.
Yep. And the good thing, though, is, and I'm sure Dabu will be able to, agree with me on this. For the most part, it seems to me that a lot of the people, the normal people involved in the protest, know the game, because I saw a few videos of provocateurs trying to throw stuff at police and start, a violent conflict between the protesters and police, but the protesters would literally drag these people away and say, "Get the hell out of here!"
Isn't that nice? Isn't that something really refreshing to see that? Because that is what people need to do. I mean, we go on. We should now go on about Ferguson, of course, and Dabu 7 is having all kinds of trouble. He's going to join us as soon as he can get into this room. But what we're seeing is all the manipulation that's going on. I mean, we have the owners of some of the stores saying that all those people that came and looted, none of them were local people. Not one face did they recognize.
Yeah.
We know they're using agents provocateurs. We know that they're doing this. I saw the InfoWars video from before where a bunch of people were shouting this guy down because he was throwing bricks or something like that.
Yeah.
So we know this is going on. This has gone on over and over again. This is what people don't understand. Like when I covered, for instance, the fracking protest in Moncton last summer, and the cop cars were burned, right? It was the old cars. Right, 49. Noticed that right away. But the people that were there telling me that it was the RCMP that burned the damn cars, right? And this is all blamed. And they did the same thing at the G20 summit in Toronto. They're doing it over and over again.
Montebello, G20. It just never ends. I mean, up here they're just looking for new equipment. They're not getting quite all the military stuff the U.S. are, so they're just burning it.
Exactly.
If it comes to the native riots or the protests, they're burning RCMP cars again and getting new equipment.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's such a game, and and the corporate media. It's beyond criminal. I mean, the way they report these things, I mean, there's no investigative journalism. Forget about that. That doesn't exist. The only investigative journalism that exists is in our circles, right, where we actually investigate, double-check, find out who's lying, where do they get their sources. In the corporate media, it's what do the sources say? What's the script? What script should I read? Okay, what is CNN saying? Okay, then the dumb turds will say the same thing.
They all just mimic each other.
Exactly, and it's a joke, and it just goes on, and then the talking points are all the bullshit.
It's all the same shit, yeah.
Yeah, and the merry-go-round just keeps going around, right?
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting because you got a majority of people that are just how do I say it, like sheep followers and just totally adherent to whatever's in front of them, whether it be the corporate media or whatever. They're just like zombies, but then you got two opposing forces. You got people like us, investigative researchers, independent citizen journalists, and then you got the New World Order and the corporate media. And it's like these two entities, us and the corporate media, are literally fighting over the rest of the people's minds. Because a majority of people, either way, just aren't going to really participate and just sort of follow the crowd, follow the herd. That's the way it's always been throughout history. So it's literally like it's two of us, two groups of people, the good guys and the bad guys, I guess you could say, right? And we're fighting over the collective opinion of the people who just aren't going to do anything either way. It's like a battle for our future, and it's so important that we put our best foot forward and just. It is inspiring, though, to see people finally waking up at these protests and saying, no, these are agent provocateur.
Or you can say
Yes. That's a French term, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's typical that someone from Canada would know that, but.
Yes, well, you could say agent provocateurs or agent provocateurs. It doesn't matter really, but the idea, it's quite something. We have Dabu who's about to join us. He says he's just about coming in.
Drum roll, please.
Yeah, well, we don't want to do it yet. But Dabu, of course, has been there, and he has got footage, and he had some incredible footage that I saw last night. He said that there was a gun pointed at him, and I really want to hear what he's got to say about it. But my word. We've seen so much manipulation with that story alone. When you see all the same characters as RPR was saying with Jake Tapper, right? I mean, you can't get more of a sock puppet than that turd.
That asshole, man. He is such an a-hole, man.
Exactly. And then, as you said before, it's just it just keeps going on and on. We got the same characters, the same. Hang on, I'm going to send the link again. Hang on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Anderson Cooper, they're all on scene, of course, for this psyop. When you see Anderson Coopy and the likes and the rest of the CNN sock puppet crew, you really know how much of a psyop this truly is. I mean, it is such BS. and Cooper's there on the scene. I'm sure it's all green screen though. I don't even know if he's
and
really
you
there.
showed in your video that they had the same lawyer, right? The same lawyers, the same representatives that they had Trayvon.
Trayvon,
Yeah.
You know, these people are actors. That's what they are. They're
Yeah,
there.
that's why they got him. I mean, look, it doesn't matter how the Trayvon Martin case turned out, right? That they lost essentially. No, it doesn't matter. Get him again. Right? Why? Because he's a part of the game.
Yeah, why would you hire a lawyer that lost?
Yeah, exactly.
He's the
It
same.
makes no sense.
Exactly. Well, because he's part of the same game, same psyop, same script.
He's
Yeah.
a heel.
You know, he appears on Oprah or whatever. I mean, people know him, right? And it's like that's how it works because they know that these people are put in there to sell you the story, and then you see them and you're like, I remember this person, this face, I trust this person because remember they were here before, right?
Yeah,
They
exactly.
So more media manipulation, pretty much.
Yeah, and then they have Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and Martin Luther King Jr. the third, and all these people coming down and basically inciting more racism that wasn't there to begin with necessarily.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, it's just crazy. And what really, really made me angry is the fact that they lifted the curfew, but then they, demanded all media leave the area and were arresting every media person who didn't. And I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Quite frustrating to watch.
And you know what frustrated me, really grinded my gears, was Anderson Cooper talking to Spike Lee, and he's talking to all of these. So it's
Jesse Jackson.
Yeah, all these.
Al Sharpton.
Oh God.
Oh my God! Like interview after interview with these African American people, and I just saw the Spike Lee one, and I was just like, I'm done with this. I just can't. The Spike Lee. What is Spike Lee? What's his expertise on this? What are you doing? Like it's all such a racism. There's like so many psyops within this whole psyop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Spike Lee directed House Party, man. Come on. I think he did.
Yeah. Forget it. All is forgiven.
We're having trouble getting Dabu, and he keeps saying that it's saying the party. Sorry, the party is over. It's
the
really,
party is what?
The
Party is not over, though.
Oh,
Did
no.
he get the old link? Did he get the first link?
I just gave,
Yeah, it's a
I just gave him the link from here at the top of the page here, sort of thing.
He can try to use his smartphone, is what I said. You can get on Google Hangouts, see that if he has a smartphone.
Or tell him to maybe clear his cache in her history or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I'm working with him. I'll try and get him to do that.
So
are you in contact with him, 49 on Skype?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you could help him out there because
You bet. You guys do
really
the show.
want-
I'll help him out.
the poor guy's been trying for the last half hour to get in here, and I know a lot of people are listening, waiting to hear what he has to say about his trip to Ferguson. And that's we really want him on here because boy, oh boy, we need somebody who's been there and seen it with his own eyes and all the madness that is going on. And I saw one of his videos last night, and it was crazy. It was like the cops were rushing in and almost assaulting the press. And
they were assaulting some of the press last night.
yeah, and there's there's cops that have been pointing guns at people, saying they're gonna fucking shoot you.
Yeah, I was literally yelling at my computer screen last night. I was angry.
You've been watching the feeds like as if there were you're a sports fan watching your team,
Yes.
Truth Paradigm, yelling at the screen. Yeah, that's typical. There you go.
Just the way that they corralled everyone like cattle, and
I know. That's why this is also a form of it's kind of a test run as well, I think.
Oh, absolutely. It's a total test
They're
run.
always test running this shit, and there you go.
Yeah.
It's Hunger Games, and I think you know what? I think that the Boston bombing was sort of more of the beta test, and
That was the true beta test, yeah.
This is like a warm up to, or at least the precedent, the beginning of something bigger that they want to spark. Yeah, they want to spark
they saw
something
how
big.
well it worked. They saw how they can go anywhere and do it now.
Yeah,
Well,
Boston went perfectly.
Yeah.
Boston though, if you only knew the people around here, people will march right in line to.
You're from the area, right?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, and it's a very obedient crowd. Very similar to Jeff C did a video with a woman that said, you know, I'm a rule follower, and
Yeah, that was good. A real follower.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Man.
like rule followers with pride, having pride in being a rule follower.
Yes, very
There's a lot
proud.
more pride in Boston, a lot more, sort of like almost a tough
Nationalism?
guy kind of. Yeah, it's not really nationalism. It's more like a pride in the local area and the police here. Which
Press. Sorry to interrupt. Can you talk about the reaction you got from people, like people you knew and stuff like that? I remember you told me about that. Talk about the reaction from you exposing, sort of talking about the Boston hoax, Boston smoke bomb, and what. Yeah.
Yes. Well, first of all, it sort of started with Sandy Hook, and a lot of people actually woke up to that. It was like 4 months before the Boston bombing, and that's what really encouraged me to speak out blatantly about Boston bombing. I didn't really beat around the bush. So when that occurred, I straight up said this is a false flag. That's what I thought in my mind when I first saw it. I thought I wasn't thinking hoax. I was calling it out for a false flag, and I woke up some people, but I lost so many friends on my Facebook because at that time, that's all I was really doing was posting it on Facebook, and I had, a lot of friends that I grew up with and stuff just unfriend me and all this and all these, comments on it, and it was just bad. But at the same time, I did wake up some people, and I had to speak my mind. There was really no choice. I just felt obligated to, and.
But that's the point. You lost so many people because the Boston people are so filled with pride.
Exactly.
And,
I mean,
so
the whole term, the whole theme motto was Boston Strong, and of course the whole thing's a farce, and I kept calling it out, and eventually I just stopped because I just kept losing all my friends on Facebook, But that's when I started the YouTube channel. Well, it was like 6 months after that, but I stopped trying to wake up my friends and family because I had already woken up who was already receptive to it anyway. Everybody else was just getting pissed off. So it was like, all right, I hit my threshold. I saturated my market, so to speak. I should expand into the actual public realm, and that's why I started my channel because I'm just trying to wake people up, and after a certain point, half your friends just aren't going to want to hear it anymore. The other half are going to wake up, and then after that, you got to expand. You got to really reach out a little more to wider circles, so to speak.
Yeah, and then I found you, and brought you to the Jedi Council. And they approved you. They said you had, right? You had the Force wrong with you.
Qui-Gon.
So, yeah. So I want to say that the other thing, it's not just about waking people up. I was having a good discussion with Justin Bryant, aka the Ottawa Expositor, and we were talking about this, how the other important part of coming together like this and having these discussions and all of that is so important because it really relieves you psychologically, right? Mm-hmm. Because we want to reach out to other people, obviously, who are experiencing this as well and going through this. So and there's a whole different psychological aspect to exposing this type of information, and we don't really know kind of the ramifications long term of what it's doing to our psyche when we're involved with this type of information on a daily basis, and so that how helpful this is, and that's the other part of it, coming together and discussing this as well. So that's I wanted to point that out,
Truthers Anonymous, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's very true, though, because I don't have anybody to talk to about these kind of things, and it gets to the point where you get stressed out about it. Yeah. And it starts bothering you, like not like not something that's coming up daily, but it really does start wearing you down.
Oh, for sure, it can take I think a lot of a deeper toll than we probably all think. I became very, very depressed for quite a long period of time. Yeah. In part because of all of this information that I had learned. Just about everything. Altogether, it's a lot. It's a lot to take on. It's a lot to know, and it's hard when there's not very many people around you that are willing to even entertain these notions, So.
And for me, it was the opposite. It was more like it was a big curtain being pulled back, and I got happier because it was like, oh, now I get it. The fix is, you know what I mean?
Oh.
The jig is up. So for me, it was just like this huge enlightenment that really gave me a sense of relief.
Yeah, see, there's that relief. That's what's great about. So that's the other part. That's so great about exposing the information because it gives you that relief as well.
Yeah, and another aspect. Sorry, Red Pill.
No, I was done. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, another aspect of it, and I was actually talking about this with Red Pill last night. Is it really requires sort of a sense of introvertism. Being an introvert, at least for some period during the day or during your life or whatever, to really open up to this stuff, because if you're out and about all the time, you're not doing any research, right? So it really requires us to go within to actually wake up, and it's such a powerful and such an important experience for everybody to at least do that once throughout their lives, to go within and figure out what is life about, what is this world all about. And if anybody who does that, anybody who ends up doing that ends up waking up. So that's very important to know as well.
Yes, indeed. So how is the Dabu update coming? I mean, how's the this is
It's not going well. Poor Dabu keeps getting a message saying the party is over. Sorry, the party is over. I guess they really don't want him coming in here to talk about the important information that he has with regards to being there in Ferguson last night and having some really, really amazing footage of what is really going on. So we're trying to do everything we can to get him in here. It's really annoying. But what can we do, right?
Try to have him start another email and.
No, he's in our guest account. So if you can send it to our guest account, I did it on the sidebar here, an invite. Then he'll get it on that bell in that account.
RPR.
Yes, got it.
Send him a Google Plus Hangout invite. It may work instead of trying to go to a link.
Right.
Okay, guys, don't worry.
Okay, good. So yeah, I mean, like all of what's going on. I mean, it's really crazy when you think about everything that's happened this summer. All the different, I guess we could say, false flags, hoaxes. I mean, MH17 for one. I mean, that is just massive. There's just so much going on. We're being manipulated every single day by the corporate media on these stories. Where do we find the truth? Well, we have to dig for it ourselves. And I think that's the real lesson that people have to learn about these things, is that you cannot even begin to trust the corporate media. Even the alternative media, you got to be really careful, because there's a lot of smoke and mirrors that is going on there as well. And even us, with us, we can only do what we can do. We don't have the resources. We don't have usually feet on the ground. That's why we're trying to get Dabu in here, to have somebody who is actually right there at the Ferguson event to give us first-hand account. And really, I think the future of news is going to be people like us and people that are in these cities where these events are happening, getting down there, live streaming what's going on, getting real information, talking to real people. And maybe we're seeing some positives out of what's happened at Ferguson, with the fact that you have groups of people that are bonding together and rooting out those agents provocateurs that we were talking about before. And hopefully they'll do the same thing to the media. I mean, they should really be hunting the corporate media down and forcing them to account for all the BS that they're pushing out there with this event, because it's pretty unforgivable how they portrayed this whole thing and how they're manipulating everybody at every turn with this.
Well, how many psyops have we had just in the past 3 months? I mean, wow, it's just over every week, right? We were just talking about Ebola last week. Of course, that's ongoing. That's not done yet, but it's just every week, right?
Well, in the second shooting.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh no, demonic possession. Live.
The reptilians.
The reptilian have infiltrated.
Oh shit.
Chrissy,
No, but
kidnapped by aliens.
Yeah, no, I think they are amping up the game. They're amping it up, and I said this before in a video. I think I made a video back in March or April. Expect things to get a lot more crazier. Best of the best and worst of the worst. We have the. I'm going to get into astrology a little bit. Some people might not agree, but we have these blood moons coming up, which resemble sort of a new energy coming this way, and a few other things like a grand cross with certain planets and stuff. So.
Well, it doesn't matter. They utilize that stuff, so.
It doesn't matter because even if it isn't real, they think it's real and they believe in it, so they're going to actually follow through with it according to where the planets are and all that stuff. So
Yeah, they definitely utilize that, yeah.
yeah, so either way, whether you see it as an actual spiritual or esoteric manifestation or them just believing in it and manifesting it through their will, it's the same thing. It's bound to happen, and it is happening. It's pretty mind-blowing, to see it actually happening. So
Yeah, the blood moons, and then of course Robin Williams died on the supermoon.
Right.
Which,
right.
if you're if you research into the occult and their sort of their MO right of utilizing these astrological events and these things for their rituals, right? That's not surprising. I mean, that just goes right in line with that. So for those of you familiar with that sort of research, there you go. I'm sure you're not surprised with him dying on the supermoon. Of course, you'll get into that. You learn that that's a part of it. So
it's amazing, eh? All these things, and it's all these doors that you have to go through when you're waking up. There's the rabbit hole is so deep, right? And when
how
you
deep? How deep?
how deep
is
and
it?
wide?
Because
I don't know, man. I think you could lose yourself forever in it if you're not careful. But better to take a flashlight and a few flares with you just in case you get lost.
First aid.
But we try to decode these things, and I think we have a lot of success because we have a large network of researchers that look into this stuff and find all these clues. So people who get turned off by the Mark Dices, who can't even, for even a minute, I mean, every single day he's going on about the cartoon conspiracy theory.
I hate even hearing his name. It makes me cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah, good video there. TruthParadigm1.
Oh, thank you.
I commend you there. Anybody who does.
People are figuring it out. If you look at his last video, I mean, almost every question, every comment that's got like dozens of thumbs up.
Oh yeah, and he's getting way more thumbs down than thumbs up on almost all of his videos.
Yeah, it's so hilarious now. It's come to a point where every video he has to mention. And by the way, you'll see stupid comments, and you'll see my ratings 25% approved only. And he has to mention this every time.
RPR, are you seeing the messages on the side? Because 49's trying to get you some important information there. And yeah, I mean, that's the gatekeepers that we have to overcome, and I think it's working now. I mean, I think it's getting to the point where people are waking up and they're realizing that guys like Mark Dice are just there to totally muddy the waters and mislead.
Yeah, and I guess in the end, if Mark Dice is the path that led people to all of us, and they actually realize that he's just an absolute turd,
right.
Then I guess it's good that he's around if him being around leads people to us eventually. So
yeah, but I agree, but at the same time I could never bring myself to say something like that, so
I'm trying to be optimistic here.
She's trying to look at the bright side, Press. Come on now.
Dude, I can say that about Alex Jones, but but
we
Mark
can say
Dice,
the same thing there, but
yeah, Mark Dice, to me, although that is true, to me it's like, man, it's like, well, Hitler did bring about the it's kind of like that to me, but
well, he's gonna be around making his stupid videos anyways, so I'm just trying to see the glass is half full.
He just exposes himself anyway, so it's a charade, and most people are seeing through it, and those that are waking up are quick to realize that he's just another guy that's there to take you off the track, right, and lead you somewhere where there's really no answers, there's no solutions, there's no nothing. It's just disinfo. And yeah, I mean, we gotta wonder about the Alex Jones and all these. I mean, like a lot of this alternative media is pushing around a lot of freaking bullshit, and they don't have accountability for the lies that they put up. They don't answer to the misinformation that they push or the disinfo agents that they put up. And I did my thing the other day on the Kevin Annett guy, and
I saw that. That was a really good video.
Oh, that's right. That's what I wanted to discuss briefly as well, if you can.
Yeah. We
Now,
can for sure.
now I did 2 videos on Kevin and Annette before, and as I told you, I put them on private for a while. They've been private for a while now because of the questions that came up about him and the his whole pedophile sort of empire thing he's got going, right? Or so he's sort of hunting them down, right? But there's no evidence, and so you put up that video. I'm glad you did, man, because he needs to be called out. So
Well, you
I've been meaning to do it. So
you can't make this sensational claim that your alpha team busted some massive pedophile satanic ring in Montreal that involved executives from Cargill, Foods from Sinclair Oil, and a bishop from Quebec, and expect that people are not going to come around the next day and say, okay, where's the information? Why isn't anybody else reporting on this? Where are your facts? Where is the video? Where is the images of the bust happening? Where is it? And if you don't have that, then you are a fucking fraud. And that is 100% point final. Never trust you again. Never trust that person again, because if they lie to you once on something that is that big, because when I saw it, I was like, my word, I can't believe this isn't all over the news. What's going on?
Has he gotten into contact with you at all to try to clear up any of it, or is he just...
No, I mean,
No.
he's used a lot of different accounts to attack my video, and
So what's his end game? Like, what's his MO?
I have no idea. I mean,
I think he's just making money is the thing, right? Because he takes donations and on his site. So
the difficult thing about it, and this is where, like, I mean, I have people coming on saying, "Who cares? He's doing the right thing. Okay, he may not be 100% authentic, but he's going after the real culprits." And it's like, okay, well, let's think about that for a second. Who cares? If he is actually claiming to do these incredible things, like he's claiming that he was the one that brought down Pope Benedict, for instance, that he has charged the Queen of England and the Pope, the current Pope Francis, right, in his imaginary court there, right, and has filed arrest warrants for them, which have no authenticity at all. So he's claiming these things, and it's like, what's the big deal about it? Well, the big deal is this: if he is actually doing this false, if he's releasing all this false bullshit about breaking these rings, he's actually working for them, not against them, because he discredits any other work that other people would do, because they would just say, well, look at this guy. This guy claimed that the Vatican is behind the rapes and torture and Satanism, and look at, he's a total liar, right? So he just discredits all the other work that could be done, because we know this stuff is going on. That's the problem. We know this stuff is going on. We know that CIA is involved. We know the British royals are involved. We know that the Dutch, like all these creepy monarchies are involved in this type of trafficking and this type of Satanism, except that if you're going to go after them, you have to do it the right way. You have to really, you can't lie about stuff. You can't make up stuff. You can't just do it just to get interest. That doesn't work that way, because all you're going to do is discredit anything you do in the future, or anything anybody else does.
Yeah, and if everything he was saying was the actual truth, he would be, presenting the evidence to back it up, rather than just, making a statement.
Yeah, and people have to wonder about that Alfred Lebrant Weber, the former judge there, and he's a well-known guy in the United States. He's got a lengthy history, and what is he doing constantly promoting this guy? How is, you can't do that. That's what I'm saying. You just can't come out and say you've made this massive satanic bust, and McGill University is involved, and all these big shots, and a bishop from Quebec, and then just expect nobody to follow up on it, and like, well, we did that, it's already done, on to the next thing. Where's your evidence? Where's your proof? Where's the photos? Where's the video? Where's all this? No, there's nothing. And somebody even went and contacted the Montreal police, and the Montreal police, this is, I don't know, I can't verify it 100%, but people are sending me a lot of messages on Twitter saying stuff like this, and that they contacted the Montreal police. The Montreal police just laughed, right? They're like, there's nothing like that. That didn't happen. If you make a citizen's arrest, yeah, you can make a citizen's arrest, but you have to, at some point, you have to, as soon as possible, basically. Bring them to the police, and then the police can make the proper arrest, because you have no authority to keep people in your basement, until you have your fake court. I mean, it's ludicrous, right? So at some point, the police have to be involved, and if they're not involved, then you're lying, and it's all fake. And I can't believe that there are that many people out there that are supporting a con artist like this. This is insane.
Especially people as big as Alex Jones. They should be vetting their people who they have on their show.
100%. Dabu.
There he is.
How you doing?
Yay!
Oh my God! I thought it wasn't gonna work.
It was.
That was great.
Hallelujah.
Been working so hard to get him
Oh
in.
man, everyone is listening. Thank God. Dabu has been trying to get in for the last hour, I think, and in my word, thank God you're here, buddy, and we're so glad to have you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good now. What I had to do was this. I don't know why my account. I can't do it because of a community guideline strike. But this new account we set up to try to go in through. I think when you make a new account, you have to go into the settings, and I went in there to the invites, and I had to switch everything because you have to open it to let everyone be able to contact you and for you to be able to see other stuff. So I just now did it, and boom, it worked.
Wow, that's great. Now we're gonna go over for sure. I wanted you to. You just came back from Ferguson. You had only saw your video from last night there. Just a crazy sort of. The police were assaulting the media. Can you start to tell us the listeners about your experience there?
All right, yeah, I went down to get a view on it for myself because like everyone else, you're sitting here watching it from home, and I wanted to go down and taste it. So I went down there, and I thought, I was going to see some military, I was going to see some police, this and that, but I didn't think it was going to be as big as it is. I got up at 270. I was on the other side of 270 at a Night's Inn. I kind of used as a little base there, and dropped all my stuff off, took off down Dunn, got to the top of West Florissant, and started to head down. I got down to Chambers. When I got to Chambers, they had everything blocked off. Any way you tried to go around, any other way, up and down, they had it blocked off, all coming down toward that main McDonald's. So I started to try to find a couple different back ways out in case something crazy happened. So I drove around a minute and came back down to this gas station that was on the corner of Chambers, and the cops stopped me and were like, "You can't go down here unless you live here." I was like, "Well, I'm here to report on what's going on, see what's happening." He was like, "You got any press credentials?" I said, "No." He's like, "Well, you can't go down here." I was like, "Well, can I park here?" And he just looked at me. He's like, "I guess if you want." And I was like, "Well, it should be the safest place next to you cops, right?" He didn't say nothing. He just walked off. So I was like, "All right." I'm already getting negative attitude here. And I just hopped out. I pressed on down the street. I got down there, got into the action. It was when I walked down, I noticed that every single street, at the end, every single street, even if there was not a cop there, there was a federal car or something blocking the street off, so you couldn't go down that direction. And as I wandered up around like the neighborhood, up toward like Walmart, Kroger, like all these shopping center plazas, man, it's gonna stick with me for the rest of my life because I can't get the images out of my head. I sat up on a hillside looking down. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I mean, I felt like we were invaded. I'm serious. Like, until you're out on your feet and you see this, you don't understand the vastness of this down here. And, I went down in the mix. I got down in there. Everything was calm. Everyone was doing a protest. There wasn't nothing violent going on. I mean, there were people shouting. And even though the people were shouting at the cops, I mean, they would take it. It was nothing violent. For the most part, the people that were there were urging everyone to stay away from the cops. They were urging everyone to keep on marching, to keep on moving, to not be a problem. So the protesters were trying to be as peaceful as they could be. I started to notice some issues, though. I started to notice that the military started to say, "You need to be here, you need to be here." And people were complaining like, it's supposed to be America, yada, yada, yada. And like, we have an area set up for the press. You need to stay there. So the last video that I put out where you seen the MPs come marching in on the press. That was in our designated spot.
Wow.
So they cornered us down in a spot where they wanted us. They pointed whoever the hell they wanted out in the crowd, as you've seen in the video, and charged in and picked them off one by one and drug them out.
So they basically set you guys up.
Yes, and it's not only that, they surrounded us. I mean, I was rounded up like cattle for the first time in my life, and I did not like it one bit. They did it strategically. They came down to the middle of the block. Well, it all began on the far side down by Canfield. There was a bridge. I haven't uploaded that video yet. I'm going to do it as soon as we're done here. But the video is crazy. You see, it's like frontline battlefield right there. Cops, soldiers in fatigues, guns drawn everywhere, and they got people down on the ground trying to arrest them. So I jumped up on the bridge ledge trying to film down and get everything I could. And at that time, the military and the police were just kind of fanning out, trying to keep everybody back. People were throwing stuff over my shoulders at the cops, and so I'm looking back, and I get a good face, I get a good read on who these people are behind me that are throwing these things. And because I'm trying to pick up on everything here, okay? Every face, what everyone's doing, who's connected, everything I can in the middle of all this chaos. So I continue filming, and the next thing I know, they go to get these people up off the ground, and they just make a sweep. And they head right for us. They knocked me off the top of the bridge post. I got it all on film. Went flying. I went to jump back up there. They whacked me again, knocked me back down. Some a Korean dude or something grabbed me, caught me in the air, and let me down. And as soon as I got back up, I had a shotgun barrel shoved in my face. Get back! And I'm like, whoa! I'm like, whoa, buddy! And I looked up, and right there in front of me was that sign that said Canfield. I'm like, dude, I'm right at the end of the street. I'm like, I'm right here. This is it. I was like, and the next thing you know, the whole crowd just like swept me away, and I was just like along for the ride. And they pushed us pretty much all the way down to the middle of the street. Once they got to the middle of the street, West Florissant, they pushed in toward the store. At that point, they divided the people, and they pushed half the group back down toward Canfield, toward the bridge, and the other half they pushed toward McDonald's, back down toward the other side. So they divided us, and what they did is they did the same thing as they did last week. They wrapped around the buildings from behind also and swooped in that way. So once they had two units cordoned off at the end of Florissant here, Mr. Don Jones, that chief that came out and made that big speech in front of everybody, came out and showed his face, and the people were not happy. They were like, what are you doing? You said you were going to be out here helping us, supporting us. You were going to be out here fighting for our right to protest. What's not what the SOB did. He herded us up like cattle. They sent him in to strategically take all of us out. When I called him out, man, he looked at me like he wanted to kill me. And I was thinking to myself, oh, crap, they're coming for me. And they swarmed us. The only reason I got out of there is because I sat down next to a fence right in front of them. Two MPs stopped us, and they were like, you're not going anywhere. I'm like, what do you mean I'm not going anywhere? This is America. I did nothing wrong because you're not going anywhere until we get orders to release you. I'm like, all right. So I didn't fight them. I sat down at the fence right in front of them in plain sight where they could see me. That way they could establish me in their view as not a threat. So I was drinking my water bottle and everything, and I knew it would only be a matter of time. And boom, they went taking off in the other direction. So I hopped up and calmly started walking up the street. A couple other guys started running, so I stopped them. I was like, walk slow. We walked slow down the street. We made it almost to the next block. And here come an APC throwing it in reverse, screaming down the block, slams it in reverse. They come charging out with guns and everything. Stop right there. You're not going anywhere. I'm like, what the? I'm like, dude, this is crazy. We're not the protester. We were the media down here that you just did this to.
I mean, like, why are they doing it? I mean, it wasn't like people were getting violent, were they?
No, they were not. It was aggression, bro. It was straight up flexing their muscles, and that SOB Johnson's behind the whole thing. We caught provocateurs left and right. I found what I believe to be connections to Anonymous. I can't prove it because, I mean, they weren't chanting it or nothing, but a guy that had the mask that was staying in the shadows, that never did come down in the street, was associating with a guy that came down into the group of us peaceful people, protesters, media alike, and started launching rocks from the group. You see what they do? They infiltrate your group and they throw the rock from the middle of the pack so the cops can come storming all of you.
Yep.
That's exactly what they did, and we caught him, and I got it all on film. One of the guys I was interviewing snatched him up by his hair and ripped him down, and I got him on film all the way around the block. His face, we were screaming at him, chanting, "Hey, who stitched you?" All this, and we ran him out of there. And
it sounds like to me, like when you're talking about how they divided you up and all that, and they cordoned you off and pushed you in down the street, sort of thing. Sounds a bit like how the same tactics that they were using at Occupy Wall Street, particularly when they led all those people up onto the Brooklyn Bridge and then turned around and started arresting everybody and beating on everybody. Like these seem to be like it's a strategy.
They're kenneling strategies, yeah.
It's sick, man. And I was scared. I'm not gonna lie. I went down. I was armed. It wasn't brought to my attention until afterwards. Like, are you supposed to be down there with the gun during martial law? And I'm like, look, I don't give a damn, martial law or not. This is my gun. I got a permit. I'm legal. I'm a U.S. resident, and I guess they'll have to pry from my dead hands.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I looked at it, I'll be honest with you, down there, I went down there, by myself, solo, and it was just me. You defend yourself.
I was shocked when I saw your video. I was like, holy cow, the aggression. You could just feel it. It was in the air.
Feel it in the air, man, just sapping in the air. And I knew it. I could tell. I could feel it. Because the reason I could feel it is because I was trying to read the military personnel. I was reading their body language. I was trying to listen in on their talkies that were a little too loud. Trying to get a grip on everything that they were doing here. And you could tell when they started tensing up, they were getting ready to do something. And then I started noticing when they started pointing people out, you'll see it in that video, I was like, man, they're pointing people out. They're getting ready to come in. And sure enough, I tried to warn them. They rushed in and they took them out.
Yeah.
Did you see anybody being arrested at all?
Oh, yeah. I've got so much footage, man. But the thing with my footage is I didn't just take like 2 hours of footage. I was like trying to get something, I'd stop. So I've got a lot of 1-2 minute clips that just are like chaotic and all kinds of different stuff going on. Arrests, fights, people running, and just all the chaos.
Did you see any other media that you recognize there?
That's what I was going to say, Dabu. Can you talk a little bit about how you were kind of shunned?
I
saw your video before I got on, so.
I'm like you guys. I mean, I show love to anyone out there that's doing a good job and working hard and bringing us good information. And I thought that I found that in Tim Pool and Vice. And I've always been warned of Vice, CIA crap. And I've never really dabbled into Vice. But I caught Tim Pool, and I'm like, dude, he's a dude on the ground with a camera, and he's showing us what's going on. He's got some killer footage. Hell yeah. I wanted to share it with everybody. I gave him respect. And I tell you what, when I got down there, I seen him almost immediately, and I came up to the crew, I introduced myself, and I just got, he turned away from me and like walked away, and he had no interest in knowing me, seeing me, anything. And I was like, all right, well, I sat back and I watched him, and he played it. They were shooting, it was almost like they're shooting a movie.
They are.
He had the whole production crew. He had 2 or 3 guys around him, and they were doing, I'm like, dude, you're doing this for you. And you don't want me here because you want the spotlight. And I'm done with it. I'm done with it.
Dude, Vice is totally controlled. I mean, they are the corporate media, in my opinion. And
it pisses me off because I'm sitting. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was moving my computer. I push people in that direction, just to watch the footage, and now I'm kind of like regretting it. Like, man, I don't know. It just sucks, man, because if I would have took this trip, I'd have never known it. I'd have never got to see it for my own eyes. I'd never know what these people were really made of.
Well, and you have to be careful with Anonymous too. It's very they're controlled as well, just like Vice.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like the new
I
Black
can't tell
Panthers.
from all the little anons out there that are subscribed to my channel. Like, I'm an anon, but we're not controlled. I'm like, look, dude, that's the thing. It's a mindset. Anon is a collective conscious. They're picking you from the crop They're watching all of you and your work. They're spying on everything. If you label yourself an anon and you're really good, they'll show up at your door one day.
And beyond that, anybody can join Anonymous, so anybody can declare themselves part of Anonymous, so why wouldn't the CIA or the FBI?
Right.
And plus,
So, I mean,
Anonymous has I don't know if anyone here has seen it. They, I know kind of what what you're talking about, but they supposedly released a message threatening the Ferguson police department, saying, within a certain time period that they were going to start releasing this, that, and the other. Just something to add to the.
Well, they shut down their website and email system numerous times over the last week.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the cyber version of agent provocateurs, right?
Yeah.
They go in and screw everything up so it justifies more control,
Mhm.
I think that's another aspect of it.
Yeah, they're definitely a psyop, is what I've concluded. Well, that's why they use the same old leaves, the leaf, United Nations logo. I mean, come on. You know, the leaves, the leaf around. So that's the same logo as the Hunger Games logo too.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys saw the T-shirts Ferguson Strong, and they have the raised fist, like the Marxist fist that was used throughout Occupy.
Yeah, like the Black Panthers?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
because
I was going to ask.
The guy from MH17, the guy that was like an AIDS specialist, and he was making the Black Panthers. I mean, this is how they do, right?
Yeah.
They put this stuff out there.
Black Panthers down there.
I was going to ask you, Dabu, did you see anybody?
The new Black Panthers. And they were so wasted that they didn't get to pull off anything that they were meant to do anyway. Those guys were so, and I knew who they were because they were chanting it. And, they were repping it.
What about the drug use down there, Dabu? They were saying that a lot of drug use and alcohol was going on.
Mm-mm.
No?
I didn't see anything. I didn't see no drinking whatsoever. I didn't smell no alcohol, nobody. I didn't see
No marijuana
alcohol.
or anything?
What's that?
No marijuana? They said there was puffs of marijuana.
There was marijuana in the air. That's the only drug that I smelled or seen or anything. And when I encountered that was not on the strip. When I encountered that, that's when I was running from the police. About 2:30 in the morning, I was on the south side of St. Louis because they had ran us out of there. And once they ran us out of there, I realized, oh crap, dude, I'm on the wrong side of the city. And I couldn't get back because they had everything blocked off. And I'm like, oh my God. So I started cutting through woods, through neighborhoods, and stuff like that, backyards, and that's when I ran into the streets.
Well, the Black Panthers were threatening reporters too in Ferguson, hey, because they were videotaping and.
I got them. They tried to run us out of there. They tried to push my camera out of the way.
Yeah, they were threatening to break cameras, eh?
Yeah, they were also. There's a video I'll post it in the chat room of them protecting the police, which I thought was very, very odd.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It is clear to me that Mr. John Johnson has his units all over the place down there, and they're not just in uniform. Guys running around saying that others have been offered money to stand around with signs, and promote this or that just to get something going. I don't know. It's
So what about the second shooting that happened in St. Louis? Was there anything going on in Ferguson talking about
crazy.
that?
I was wanting to bring up that whole thing. I just watched the footage earlier. Have you guys seen it yet?
I saw yours.
About the 21-year-old or whatever that got shot.
The guy just got shot. Like the day that I got down there, they were all flipping out about like another one got shot, another one got shot. I'm like, I didn't see the footage till today. Well, what the guy did is went into a store. He was ticked off about this whole thing. Broad daylight. A guy's filming him with a cell phone. Like, look, my buddy just stole these 2 cans out of the store. He sat them down on the curb, and he's walking around. He's like, you guys can find me on Instagram. You guys can find me here, there, wherever. He goes, I'm sick of this, these cops and all this. And he was frustrated. The cops pulled up, and he did get mad and go to charge toward him. They gunned him down right there in the street. He had no
Well, he
weapon.
went back. He went back into the store and grabbed a pack of donuts or something, and then the owner came out and said, "You want to pay for those?" And then I guess that's when it all hit the fan.
Yeah, he did show aggression. He did charge at the police in that instance. He did. He was going at them, kind of like they were trying to paint the very first instance that he was charging police and all that.
Right. But they went ahead and said that he did it deliberately. So and they think this is a part of the psyop. So why didn't the cops shoot out the kneecaps? Because when the chief came out and made a statement, he said our police force has a right to protect themselves, and this guy had a knife.
There
So
is
why
the kneecap shots. They don't know what a kneecap is.
Shoot to kill.
Headshots.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
do the
especially
shooting targets that they have in their shooting ranges have kneecaps in them? No.
No, they
No,
have
they're
heads.
headshots. Or
No, but what they were saying was the frustration level was so high that why did they shoot another person dead? Why didn't they just go and take him
Right.
out,
Try to avoid doing it again.
They've got all the cops ramped up too. I mean, the cops are all doing overtime. They're
Yeah, I
all
was just gonna say they're all getting paid extra.
Well, the
Well,
one
they're
cop,
A few
the
of
one
them.
cop, the one cop walked up with his rifle and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on anybody."
Go ahead,
Don't-
49.
The one cop walked up and said, "Get back or I'll kill you." And it was like, whoa. And all the reports, I put it in an article about fake blood and the bully thing. No, it was Michael Brown, sorry. But the article was about, this cop coming up to the press and just saying, "Get back or I'm going to kill you." And they're all going, "What? You're going to kill us? What?"
They did that when I was down there.
It's
I believe
crazy.
that cop that you're talking about, I heard on the news today that he was suspended, so
I heard
that's
that.
the one I was thinking of.
That's garbage. That's garbage. They're all yelling, "I'll kill you. I'll shoot
Yeah.
you. I'll blow your head off. If you don't,
Oh, yeah.
you're putting your life in danger." All this crap.
Yeah.
Dabu, what did you see? I mean, how are the police dressed? Because you said military sometimes. I mean,
Everything you could think of. You couldn't pick them out. You would think that they had to draw in every cop from the whole freaking state. That's how many's there. And then you could tell that who the military police were, because they were in their camo. And I'll be honest with you, they were the most nervous. They didn't want anything to do with this. And I was posted up on this red sign, sitting up like right in the middle of all the chaos, like up higher a little bit. And the next thing I know, I feel this boom, and I look to my left, and there's a gun, like right on my knee, over the end of my knee. I'm like, what the? And it's this black dude in all camo, looking, like, paying me no attention. I guess he'd been watching me and ruled that I wasn't a threat. He came up, and he posted up next to me, and then a white guy came up and tapped him. He's like, "We got to pull them out of there. We got to pull them out of there." And I seen more nervousness in those guys. Like, they didn't want to be doing this. Is how I felt. But when it came to the rest of the police that were down there, it was almost like they were ready to start thumping. But I don't know, the military guys that came up next to me, they just had that vibe on them, like they just wanted to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And what about the? Did you get a?
Let's go stomp some heads in. They didn't have that vibe when they were next to me. Not those guys.
Did you get a chance to hear any or see any of the mainstream media reporting while you were there? Like first-hand account?
Oh yeah, they chased me down around the block a couple times trying to ask me about details. What happened here? Because when anything happened, I took off. I seen the crowd shift. I was gone. I tried to run down there and I'd get the best shots and footage. And a lot of times, if you don't get in there quick, you're not getting it. You're in the back of the pack. And a lot of guys were coming to me asking me questions. Mainstream media. I don't know the outlets. I can't remember the outlets, guys. There were so many cameras there, but there was quite a few. The big outlets were across the street, and they were behind this big fenced-in area, like gated, and like there was no getting in. And they were coming out and running down around the corner, especially when we chased the provocateur around the corner. They were wanting to know everything about him. Who was he? Where was he from? How many rocks, bricks? I mean, everything.
What do you guys think of the news that came out yesterday that Darren Wilson, who is the cop, suffered some sort of orbital blowout fracture to his eye socket? So that would mean that the story that's going around about what actually happened isn't exactly, I don't know, what do you guys think of that?
I mean, they released that, 2 weeks after the event happened?
Yeah.
After?
This is to save their ass.
It's baloney. The whole thing is baloney. I don't buy
Grade A baloney.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
What about the any of you guys familiar with the recent or there was supposedly blood before a photo and then there was blood after? I mean, there wasn't any blood. And then blood appeared.
Is that with Mike Brown? Are you talking
on the
about?
body. Was it Mike Brown's body?
Yeah, I guess it would have been.
Someone said that they put that up, showing that.
Really? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, how there's blood after, but there wasn't any blood before. So.
It doesn't surprise me in the least. I mean, I think this thing is all set up. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if anybody died. I mean, obviously somebody died. Was it today? Right? Police shot him, but I don't know about Mike Brown. I've seen a lot.
The initial thing is a stage setup, but when I say stage, many people come to me like, "You still think this is stage?" Well, yeah. What's your definition of stage? You think they're all actors? It's not how it works.
Exactly.
They get the ball rolling with this initial event, and if you've noticed, they strategically time when they release information, when they don't release information, everything. It's like they should have released all this from the beginning, but they like the cop's name, all of this, like they waited for the perfect timing to release all of it. And notice when they released the cop's name at the exact same time they did that, they released the video showing the dude robbing the store.
Right.
Yeah, and the chief blamed it on the FOI request.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like a strategic outpouring of this propaganda. It's all incendiary. It's tactics used to inflame the population so that they get rowdy, so that they have justification for the martial law, etc.
Yeah.
And it's all pre-planned, and it's very, very well thought out. And
Oh yeah.
yeah.
They've amped this thing up. I mean, it's that's how it works, right? I mean, it's a way of agitating, a way of just forcing people to take action. They want people to take action so that they can justify the militarization of the police.
Right.
And that's
and then
so disturbing.
And then they bring in the communist groups from Chicago, right? And the new Black Panthers Party with Malik Shabazz. I think that's his name, right?
Yeah, Shabazz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and these people are out there chanting, getting the audience to chant, death. We want Darren Wilson here dead. We want to kill him, And then they turn around and say, I have a video coming out about all that, and it's very, very deceptive what these people are doing. Malik Shabazz, these communist groups all from Chicago, of course, same place Obama and the Attorney General Eric Holder are from, and then you have Obama and the Attorney General getting involved in this situation as well. It's like it's problem, reaction, solution all the way.
But this is just the Weather Underground rewrapped. This is Obama's whole clan rewrapped.
Right. Yeah.
This is Bill Ayers. This is everything they did then.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just all prepackaged and sent out again. And we got to consider that, this kid, this Mike that they killed, I don't doubt that they did kill him. They probably had a scenario set up. Well, if this event happens, we're going to, boom, call it all in and everybody rush there. So, it is
But
people dying during live
49 though, did you know this, that the dispatch got the information on the shooting from the corporate media?
Yeah, they didn't call it in for like half an hour.
Yeah, I heard about that. And
Well, and it was really convenient how Darian went ahead and put his cigars back on the counter. Did anyone catch that?
Yeah, picked him up and set him back on the counter. Yep.
Well, and the other thing is that if they were
That's a heck of a
actually
robbery.
involved
That's a
in
very
robbing,
challenging.
yeah, if they actually robbed the store, why the hell's this Darian Brown guy walking around afterwards? He's an accessory to a crime. He would be like getting booked and getting interviewed.
Not a word about it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, makes no sense at all.
And those are all the things you got to pay attention to. Forget what if we know, looking at all this information, we're like, dude, something's not right. Something's not right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Abu, they want to know in the chat room, were you packing at all?
yeah, she said he was.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
said
see a chat room.
They
What's the
want to
chat
know
room?
what kind of gun.
I don't see a chat room. I ain't telling nobody what kind
On the
of
YouTube
Cold
channel. That's,
I got plenty of
I also have a question. They were going to ask, they wanted to know when you planned on releasing the videos in which you're talking about right now of your footage.
I get off here. Man, listen, I left out of here I drove to St. Louis. I went through that chaos. I went back, uploaded a couple videos. I drove back here, slept for 2 hours, got back up. I've been at it, and then trying to get this whole stuff set up here.
Yeah.
I haven't had time to get anything off.
Well, we're going to have a lot to look forward to with your videos. I mean, it's amazing that you went down. It's really, and as we were saying before we got you in the room, it's so important for us to be able to have people like in our movement that can actually show up on scene and be close by, give us hand-on accounts of what's happening, because we cannot rely, as you've learned, Dabu, from your encounters with the Vice media. I mean, you can't rely on the pseudo alternative media. They are not to be trusted.
Yeah, and it is good because a lot of us. Go ahead, Dabu.
Got back up. I've been at it, and then trying to get this whole.
Oh, sorry, I gave him the link to the chat.
I didn't know where the chat was. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had infiltrators. That was scary.
Yeah.
Clones?
That was
Showed up?
Yeah, your subs were showing up in our hangout here.
They didn't know. I mean, they're just
Super
following.
great.
I have got to copy my account, Dabu7, same picture and everything, and pop up places trying to carry on conversation.
I thought for a second we were gonna have to. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought for a second we were gonna have to sniff out a rat, like in like a Pulp Fiction Reservoir Dogs type of scenario. Someone gave out our link. We had an infiltrator.
Yeah. Do we have time for another question from the chat?
Yeah, absolutely. Bring
Go
it in.
ahead.
They wanted Tyler Castillo. I can't pronounce that. Anyways, they want to ask, how long do you think until we see national martial law, and do you think this will be the beginning of it?
Well, let Dabu answer that first.
Well, I think it's here, and I don't think it's ever going to leave. You take yourself down Ferguson, you see what's down there, man. It's not. This isn't just a small little thing. I mean, people think it's big. I mean, this is bigger than I've ever seen. When they're encamped in Walmart, Kmart, every parking lot you can think of for blocks and miles. Choppers as far as your eye can see. Other aircraft that we couldn't even make out. Red and green lights flashing in the sky. I mean, this is a full-blown operation, and this is what they've always wanted. And if you think they're going to pack up and go home, I don't think so.
Yeah, and I you know what I think? I think you'll see more of these events, whether they're staged or not, whether it's them taking advantage of events or staging them completely. You're going to see more of them all across the country, predominantly in the urban neighborhoods, right? Because that's black folks like to stick up for each other because they like to stick close, and you do it in like a suburban neighborhood, you're not going to see that. So
they're the most oppressed, right? Too.
Exactly, and
this is weird though, where we have the black folks there in the community, and I put up a video today that I got from Dutch Sins's channel, which had a black guy, and he was talking about how they're bringing in the state militia and stuff.
Oh, that was
I saw that one.
Space. Mike sent me a link on all that.
Yeah. So
shout out. He's listening too, by the way. He was wondering if there was a call in. I was like, I don't think there is.
Dutch is listening, you saying?
No, Patriotic Space. Mike.
Oh, okay. Well, if maybe we can bring him in if we can. But yeah, I mean, like the whole thing that's going on. I mean, if the black folk, hopefully a lot of them are listening to this right now, because that guy in particular did a great job just saying, look, they're coming in, they're orchestrating this thing, they're infiltrating, they're putting people, and also, like, we talked about this before about how the store owners were saying that the people that were looting their stores were not people from Ferguson, they were from outside. This is so important. This is crucial information because it talks about the whole agent provocateur, aspect to what is going on, that this whole thing is staged, and that these people have to be rooted out. This is where the community has to come together. The black community that is in Ferguson has to come together and root out those who are infiltrators that are trying to, muddy or completely, betray the people there, make them look like there are, looters and lunatics, violent and all this. It's really.
Who made me scared the most while I was there? Who made me feel more uncomfortable than anyone?
The police.
Of course.
Of course that, but on an individual basis.
The other media.
No.
Alternative media.
I was approached as soon as I got on the strip by a man that ran right up to me, tapped me, and said, "Are you guys there?"
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sorry. He said, "You're the one." I said, "What?" He said, "What do you think about all this? Well, look at this. Look at this. Look at all." He was talking like so crazy. Well, I ended up asking him, I was like, "Were you from around here?" He's like, "No, because we're from Israel." I said, "Israel, huh?"
What?
Oh,
I've
whoa.
got this all on camera, dude. I've got it. I'm sitting there. I'm like, "So, what do you want to do?" I didn't get this part on camera, but I got the rest of it. I was like, "So, what are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, something's got to be done here. You know." He goes, "We can fix them up something, you know." I'm like, "Shh, no, I don't know. What are you trying to say here?" He goes, "Don't you believe?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah. Believe in my country?" He goes, "We can cook them up some barbecue and serve it to them." And I'm like, "What?
What?
Barbecue? What are you talking about, dude?" He had that little thing on top of his head. I turn around and look, and there's 3 or 4 of them behind me. They're all just looking at me. And
These white guys?
these are Israelis, every damn one of them.
Man.
Wow.
I still say CST Global Israel is behind it. We pointed it out at Boston
the
Bombing,
ground.
pointed them out everywhere.
Came straight at me, right through everyone, beeline, right toward me.
Yeah, they must have recognized you, you know,
As soon
like
as I got on the strip, as soon as I got there.
Wow.
that's crazy, man. I mean, that's why should we be surprised? I mean, they're definitely some part of the whole thing, but they're not the only part. That's for sure. I mean, this whole thing is carefully planned out. It really is. I mean, I think it's a giant psyop that's
When you
going on.
use multiple fronts like that, you also keep people guessing. You'll have people out there saying, "Oh no," it causes arguments. It divides people, and that's the name of the game: is them dividing people.
Exactly. I mean, divide and conquer. I mean, this is the whole thing. We got the frickin' race, the same fucking idiots. Jesse Jackson,
Al
Reverend
Sharpton.
Al Sharpton.
All
My
of them.
word, you know, and they come out. They're like clowns. They come out to every event, right?
Yeah.
Peddle their fucking bullshit, which
They're
is
not respected.
the black folk. You know, this is the black.
They were calling them out down there. They were calling out Ron Johnson, like all the black folk in the street. They're like, "Dude, you a homegrown," you know. And they're going off on him. And I mean, they see through the video you were mentioning. There's some of them down there that see right through the deception.
That's what needs to happen. Like, we really need these people to fucking turn on the.
It has to be organized, though, man.
Yeah.
It has to be organized. That's the problem I'm seeing with it all. They came down through there and they rounded us up like cattle, and there's not a damn thing we could do about it. The only way that you can win is to fight back, and if you want to fight back, you got to do it right, and you got to have a fighting chance. And you know what that means. They're coming with guns. They're coming with everything else. So
we gotta use our brains, though, Dabo. We have to be smarter than them. We have to, like, I mean, like some of the things that I've seen, for instance, the people that were being rooted out as being agents provocateurs. That is exactly the tactics that the people need to use to win this battle. They can't allow nefarious sources to infiltrate the movement, to infiltrate their protests. They have to police themselves, right, in order to not play into the hands of the manipulators and into the hands of the corporate media.
I got one quick question. Dabu, can you detail the equipment you saw staged in the parking lot again? If you didn't, if you did, I apologize.
What do you mean?
If you did.
What kind of equipment?
Did you see any equipment in the parking lot that was suspicious at all or anything? As far as the parking lot being the equipment being staged there.
Like which equipment? Like news equipment
Military?
Military?
Yeah, military. Anything of that nature.
The military was like, well, when I got down there, they were already in position. Like, I guess it's been going on for days. They already knew where they were going to. I mean, they were on hillsides and suburbs, up on the hillside, people's backyards, camped out with laser beams. Dude, I'm telling you what, dude. And this was like a half a mile away from the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
On foot, going through the neighborhoods, dude. This is big. Like, they were scavenging everything, watching everything.
Yeah, I was
Like,
listening on
whether
the
how-
police scanners and
This equipment is set up everywhere. They're watching everyone in real time. They're
Did you
watching.
see any snipers, Dabu?
What's that?
Snipers? Did you see anything like that?
Oh,
People on
yeah.
rooftops?
Yeah, well, there was obviously the snipers on top of the APCs, and they were keying in, doing their yelling and screaming. But besides that, I didn't see any snipers on the top of any buildings per se. I was wanting to get up in a nest somewhere above, away from everything. I would have climbed up in a tree, but I didn't have that opportunity. And plus, it seemed like certain points the helicopter just knew where certain people were, and they were just like spotlighting you just to let you know. Like if I was going to walk down back between some buildings, I went down with a couple other guys that were there, journalists I just met. We were just talking. Went back there to get away from the chaos. It was like boom, they hit us with the spotlight. It's like what? And like didn't even know the chopper was there. All you do is constantly hear a chopper, but you don't know where it's at until the light comes on. Boom. And then by that time, the soldiers are making a move. It's like showtime.
And as far as the crowd goes, Dabu, because you can't get a good panned out shot, is it mostly just young people? Because I didn't see really a lot of middle-aged or older people. Did you see a good variety?
Good blend. There was middle-aged, older. No, I didn't see that. But I mean, 30s, 40s, and 20s, 30s, 40s. That was probably the majority of the group.
So it was a good mix.
A good mix, yes.
And most of these people were very peaceful, right? And their actions.
Yeah. The problem people, I mean, like the one provocateur, he wasn't even from there. He was some white dude that came in, and then when it came to the Black Panthers, like even the other people there, even other black people knew it.
yeah,
Look,
they said 2 nights ago at the end of the night sort of press conference that they arrested 50 people, and I think like 37 of them weren't from Ferguson.
Right.
Yeah. It was
And
like
that's
37, 38.
There's some out there just screaming at everybody, like just like we need peace. I mean, just force, like.
Well, Justin Bryant from the Ottawa Expositor and I were watching them together, and this Malik Shabazz is a proclaimed major anti-Zionist apparently, and he's putting out a video about that. But we also seen these community controllers that you're talking about. Somebody in the crowd, like this woman in a white shirt, she got a little agitated, and they come up, and he puts his arm around her, and you could see her pull her away, and then he tries to kiss her on the cheek, and she's wiping her face like, bugger off, eh? And, so people are not suckered by what they're trying to pull for tactics of control, and it's almost like passive bullying. Do you know what I'm
like
saying?
passive aggressive kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a control mechanism, and they're doing it to the women, which I found interesting, and the women were really upset.
I saw that. Now that you said that, I totally remembered seeing that on the live feed 2 nights ago or whenever that was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on out there, that's for sure.
Dabu, go ahead.
Sorry. I don't think the people are suckered in all the way yet. And I think that's the problem, is they're upset that they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Dabu, did you see any? What about the other alternative media? InfoWars and the like. Did you see any of them?
I tried to find Joe Biggs, all them guys.
Yeah, Biggs.
On there, man, those guys were almost like ghosts. I tell you, I tried to find them. I looked for them everywhere. Unless they were on the other side of the street behind that caged fence. And if that's the case, that was like your corporate media. You know what I'm saying? Then it just shows you where they sit.
And they were saying on a report I happened to watch, or so, because I was just researching things on this morning. They were reporting on Alex Jones that they weren't staying behind that fence. They would go in there and then they would come out and try to be with everyone else who was protesting. So either they're bullshitting on that, which wouldn't surprise me, or you just couldn't find them.
Well, no, I remember watching an InfoWars broadcast from there, and that's why I said ooh, because I remember them being behind a fence. So that right off the top of my head, right off the bat.
I'm wondering that fence. How long when you're there in the flesh, you start to ask questions. Why in the hell was that fence even there when you're walking down that street? Did they just put it up for this whole event? I mean, I started asking questions like they canceled school. I'm like, why did you cancel school? You're doing everything opposite. You should tell them they're going to school. If they don't show up to school, they're not going to freaking graduate school, and threaten them.
Well,
Keep
they
them
had
off
all
the
the
street if that's
school.
what you really want to do. If you really wanted them off the street, but it's not. And I see they're doing the opposite tactics. They want them in the street. They want them there. They want to herd us up like cattle. They were so happy when they did that.
It's a beta test, eh? You know, even if we're... Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say DHS, Department of Homeland Security, training these guys through and through, every level, every unit, all the way down to your police force now with full-blown military gear.
Right. Oh, I noticed during Toronto, the GHG20, the police targeted women in protest to invoke fear, like groping while restraining them and things like that. They did some very sexual things to the women that they got, and it's a fear tactic when you start to attack the women. If they'll go after the elderly and women, then, you know, you're fair game. So it scares the men. And, you know, I'm not quite seeing that point, but I'm sure it's coming real quick.
What about the businesses, Dabu? Were they all open for business, like McDonald's? Could you go in there and get a sandwich?
I couldn't even get. It was weird. I thought that I could just. I mean, I've run off the unlimited thing on my phone, and when I'm out of town here, it's like I don't have internet access unless I have a Wi-Fi spot. So I figured, hey, free Wi-Fi McDonald's. I make my way down there. I can upload videos, all my stuff from there. There was like all the AT&T spots that I could normally connect to in that spot. All kinds of people were coming through. Like it's like they've got a block on something. I can't get nothing out. All kinds of people. I sat in front of McDonald's for like 45 minutes trying to get that one first video to upload that uploaded in 2 seconds when I got back to the hotel.
That's what some of the guys were saying who were live streaming. They were saying that every now and again there was like this, it wasn't like the acoustic long range thing that they would hear, but it was a different sort of like weird other noise, and it would totally fuck with like everybody's internet.
Everything. They're testing all the toys on this. This is the testing ground. Right here.
And so if you made a call with your phone or something, did you find any interference, or was everything just getting wiped out?
I didn't make any calls until I was way.
Nothing.
I didn't have no communication. The only time I really had my phone out was when I was trying to film. I had a camera in one hand, a phone in the other, and just trying to film everything.
Did you happen to see any of the looting spots? Any of the stores that were looted?
I was trying to answer that there in the comment section. No, I mean, I've seen some of the destruction spots. I did go by the Quick Trip that they burnt down and all that, and it was all fenced off. I didn't see anyone causing chaos. There was no one looting. There was no one causing destruction. The only ones that we seen causing that kind of energy were the ones I pointed out, the Panther group, the anonymous dude, and the provocateurs. None of the protesters were smashing anything, breaking into anything, threatening any of that. Most of the protesters were upset, yes, but they were keeping it peaceful. And they were getting maced at the same time. I don't know how many of them I watched there get maced. Old elderly lady, probably older 40s, maybe going on 50. One of the older people I'd seen out there got maced and was down on the ground. And had like 20 people around her trying to help her. And then a group of guys that went down to try to help her up off the ground got maced. So I pulled my mask out and threw it to them and was like, here, throw this on. You know, you guys are getting doused. And, you know, what was I going to do? Go fight the cops and get shot? I mean, it's like there's a fine line there, and you're seeing innocent people getting beat on by the police, and the only reason they're getting away with this is a lame excuse of a provocateur in the crowd, and it's sick.
That's what they want, eh? It's the perfect setup. You have the mole or the agent provocateur in the crowd, and that gives the excuse for the police to go and stomp some ass, right? Come in with their fucking brutality. And like they did with you, I mean, they come in after the reporters, the people, the alternative press, and stuff like that. And
Sorry.
Go ahead, Red Pill.
Sorry about that, man. Yeah, I was gonna say that it's crazy to think about the weaponry they have and all of these tools they have to fight protests and to protect themselves, and they have like sound weapons, all this stuff, right? They have frequency weapons. I don't even know who knows what they could unleash when it when it really gets worse, as we talked about, this is the beta test, and this is the warm-up, right? The beta test of Boston. And so it's gearing up to that. Imagine what kind of stuff they can use against the crowds, right? The weapons, the sound weapons and all of that stuff. So
they've been working on this for a long time.
Yeah, they have these frequency weapons, right? They can just burst your ear.
Well, they have the ones that can burn your skin without burning your skin.
Yeah, the wave weapons, yep.
Yeah, they were saying last night that that's what was getting the people riled up. They were saying everyone was calm until they turned on that, the sound thing, and
you could
people
feel
started getting riled up.
I can't explain it. You could feel it. It was like it was just in the atmosphere, like a cloud right above you. I mean, I could put my hand out and feel it in the air, the tension, vibrating.
Yeah.
I just knew when something was going to pop off.
Mm-hmm.
How many helicopters did you see in the air at once? Would you say somebody wants to know?
It's like I couldn't spot none of them until the light came on, and they would only light one at a time, and they would only do it right when they were hitting their target and flashing it around. It was right when I first got there, they let it be known. They were flying around, kind of shining their light everywhere. Then it just disappeared. The light did. And then you could hear the chopper. And everyone's looking around the whole time, looking up. And they're like, they're so far up, you can't see them. I'm like, they're not that far up. I seen them when they turned the light on. Don't be fooled. And then it sounded like there was a chopper down in the neighborhood.
There's probably several choppers.
Yeah,
right?
is there just one, or is there more than one?
And some drones, maybe.
Well, from the nights in where I was at the top of 270, it was crazy. You could look out the window and look down, and there was more than one chopper. We've seen two sets of lights, but then we also seen a green and red light flashing. We couldn't tell what it was. It didn't have any other light coming off of it, and it wasn't moving like a plane.
Drones.
Yeah, drone.
Yeah,
Very
for sure.
possible.
In fact, I should mention this. I saw a RT video just before coming on here, and they were saying this is the only footage from above in Ferguson, and it's courtesy of our drone. And the super hot host of the show was saying, well, I guess drones are good for something.
Yeah, encouraging words. And from a woman. A woman can be trusted, right? Don't believe it. Most men will go, no, they can't.
Well, the RT you can't trust either, but, I think it's good that you have as much media as possible, because then you will get different stories arising, you will get conflicting points of view, but we really need people like Dabu on scene.
Hey, dude, I'm going to call this bull track doofus out in your comment section right now. I'm sick of these trolls.
Yeah, this guy's a...
Chrissy Red Pill Revolution saying we're all shills, we all work for the mainstream media. Why don't you answer my question? What's your question?
He's asking a dumbass question. He asked something about martial law that we've already touched on.
Yeah,
before then it was random things that weren't relevant to the conversation.
He's just being a troll. Kick him out.
Hold on, guys. It's Banhammer time.
We're all friends here, and we are all part of the same movement. And none of us work for the corporate media. I can guarantee you that. All right, and I have to thank Dabu so much for taking his time. I mean, this guy has hardly.
Thank you, Dabu.
Yes.
Welcome,
it's amazing to have you here, buddy. You do such amazing work, and this is so important to have somebody who's actually been on the scene and witnessing everything that's going on firsthand. Because wow, it's really something.
Yeah, what you said in your video before you went was very, very inspiring. How you only get sort of one chance to do this kind of thing, and very, very right.
I wanted to ask one more question. During the Toronto G8 G20, we had noticed that there was the police weren't actually speaking English. Did you notice any of that? Do you think that at all that they might have been foreign troops, and were you close enough to them to actually possibly hear that?
For me?
Yeah.
Yes, I did hear what I believe to be. I'm not sure because I don't speak it, but the way that the guy communicated, the two of them, they look like white guys to me, but it sounded like something I would say similar to like Russian, something like that. But I can't say. It's I don't know what Russian is. It could have been like Ukrainian or something like that.
It definitely wasn't English.
Romanian.
Definitely wasn't English that they were speaking in. No.
Wow.
I mean, there was groups of them that were communicating back and forth, but you had all kinds of different, just I don't know how to explain it. Like I couldn't tell you like one certain military group. It was like there was different military groups. There was different police groups.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
They're asking in the chat room, Double, if you'll go into a little bit more detail about the guy who was talking about barbecuing. If what your interpretation really was of it, they want you to get more detail about that.
I just felt like that was the guy that's down there scouting, trying to get somebody to do their dirty work or something.
Yeah, they're basically like recruiters, you think, right?
Recruiters, and I think he was trying to film me out to feel my sentiment right out the gate to see if I had any passion toward hating the police, and if I did, he was going to eat into that. And I picked him off right out the gate. You'll see it in the video. I put the camera in his face. I was like, Israel, huh? Israel? Say it. Israel? He said, Israel. I'm like, yeah. And I tried to shut the camera off.
Oh. That should be interesting to see. Are you going to post that video?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, but it's going to be a lot of these clips, like that clip's probably like a 30 or 40-second clip, but you'll see all that.
Are you going to join all of your clips together?
All these videos. What's that?
Oh, I just said, are you going to join all of your clips together into one video? And
Some of them I will, like for the same like instances that happen, but there's so many different things. I mean, like these people fights, the cops arresting these people, the cops arresting these people, the cops hurting all of us over here. It's like different things. I'm going to clip together what I can, but I would like to just put them out as separate as I can because it's just going to be more time me editing.
One thing that I can add to this is I did an interview a couple months ago with Occupy Toronto, and they were talking about everything that's going on in New Brunswick, and of course the whole false flag operation that they had there with Justin Bork, and the alleged killing of the three RCMP officers. And what they were saying is that the whole thing that they're trying to do is to get live streamed, like to get as many people on the ground with cameras, with cell phones, recording everything that's happening and getting it live, like have a feed that's going right away to your channel, whether it's YouTube or whatever. Right. And this is a way that we can seriously thwart their power, that we can seriously expose what is going on. If everybody,
that's awesome. That's right.
Yeah,
it's a good avenue. I was going to take advantage of it, but I put out a channel update a while back. Didn't do anything in it, but I caught a community guideline strike, and they won't let me do live stream on YouTube. So screw YouTube. I was going to go to live stream, but I started looking into I was thinking, well, how is Tim Pool and all these guys pulling this off? What are they doing? They got some badass equipment down there. And like I said, he's got two guys walking around, one with a backpack with batteries and with a microphone, and the other one's got the camera walking it around. And it's like they've got that's the gear that it takes. And I've seen some guys doing it solo. They had their equipment doing it solo, but then, I mean, it all costs money. You know what I'm saying? Like the package I looked into for a live stream was like $300 and some a month for a subscription to be able to do it. But you got to take those things. People don't understand. If you want to do this, it takes money to do anything out here, to survive, to travel, to do anything.
Well, according to the trolls,
that's something with me that I take to heart. That's very timid because coming into the truth movement, I've always steered clear of the whole money issue here of promoting anything for money out here. This can't be about money. It's just like the music industry. If you lose your heart and your soul for the music, then you're a sellout. It's the same thing here. If you're in it for money, you're a sellout. Anyone can get into my position. If somebody wanted to get greedy, they could try to pull Mark Dice. I could be trying to sell books. I could try to go all out. But guess what? You're going to fail. You're going to hit a brick wall, just like Mark Dice did, and everything you ever did is going to be nothing.
It's funny you mentioned him because he's just falling apart. I mean, people are seeing him for what he is.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. You've got to keep it true. And as long as you remain true, and as long as I'm righteous, as long as I follow my heart, can't no one fail. That's it. I stay righteous with anything, is how I put it. But when it comes down to making this happen, we do need to keep guys, like you said, on the ground, and we need to be able to supply these guys and take care of them, no matter who it is. Some dedicated guys down here that can do it, because not everyone can just up and go. People got kids, got families. Guys that are dedicated, take care of them, and have those eyes and ears on the ground. We need to establish that kind of small unit. Even if it starts with 1 or 2 men, it's something.
Or women.
Or women.
Yeah,
Exactly. Very well said. Well, guys, I want to thank you all. This has been a hell of a show. We're going to have to wrap it up now. I want to thank, first of all, Dabu for coming on here. He has provided us with incredible information. It's really, Dabu, thank you so much for coming on. We really, really appreciate your input to what is going on. And thank you to Truth Paradigm, Chrissy, Red Pill, well, of course, Tom from Press Reset Earth,
Yes.
and up north of the 49th. Go ahead, Red Pill.
Yeah, thank you to all. Thanks. And I just want to say, so catch some more discussions and radio shows. Tomorrow is Rigged Reality with Scariest Movie Ever. All right, guys. And then I'll be back on Tuesday, most likely, on Max Resistance. Again, that's Max Resistance Roundtable. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm typically on there every week and up north of the 49th, right, of course. So, yeah, always. And
can I just throw in there for the chat viewers who are asking that after the podcast ends, we'll throw up the channels. There, a lot of them are asking for that.
Yeah, we'll do that. I'll make sure I do that.
Yes, please subscribe to all the channels that are on this. Everybody is in this with their heart, and we are all taking big risk by pushing this information, getting this information across. So it's very important that you all support us.
Yes. And so everyone, please subscribe to TruthParadigm1, and I'll leave all the links here when the video is up below. All right. So thank you again, everyone, for coming. It's been fun as always. Can't wait for next week.
Thank you, guys.
Next time, okay, guys.
Thanks for the invite.
Thanks.
Thank you. It was Truth Babe night tonight. It was Ladies' Night tonight.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have to have a night for ladies.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you
Have
again.
a good night, guys.
Bye.
All right. Take care, everybody.